The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, August 19th, 2022, and this sports show that stinks begins now.
Here we go, Adam, baby.
What a day, what a day. That was the Toxic Table and one half of the Hammer. Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs. The Toxic Table is at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. All the boys in the back, I appreciate you. What a week it has been. Obviously, we're at training camp and we've had incredible conversations with so many people. Today will be another example of that.
Hell yeah.
Dana White will join us in the third hour to chit-chat about this weekend's UFC 278. Usman.
And Leon Edwards.
Edwards. Two. I'm a little
yeah.
bummed that we haven't talked to Usman this week, but I think he's been in the middle of training. I love that man.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he's come on this show, first time he was too electric, put the power out in our entire city. He was awesome. Second time he came on, just chit-chatting about who he is, how he is, what he is. I love that man. He's been playing heel a little bit on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood Usman walking around, some great costumes, great outfits. The pound for pound champ said, I'm not just fighting the technicalities of Leon Edwards. And he might have got better, over the last 8 years. I'm fighting this man's fucking heart and soul. So, we'll see who will break, who won't.
Yeah.
I got Usman. Can't wait to talk to Dana about that. Dana also had a hilariously epic internet viral interview moment.
Yes. Big time.
Fuck that scumbag journalist. I believe is exactly.
Yes, fucking right.
Excited to get his thoughts on it. Yeah,
Right.
excited to get his thoughts on that entire thing and everything else going on. Ian Rappaport will join us in the second hour for the weekly wrap-up with Rap Sheet and Friends, us being the friends, he being Rap Sheet. AJ Hawk will join us. Today's a great day because we got football to react to.
Yeah.
Last night, the Bears absolutely fucking dusted the Seahawks.
Yes, they did.
It's preseason. Let's not overreact. Everybody relax. It's just preseason football, okay? Seahawks fucking suck, dude. Now, we have to be clear. DK Metcalf, who with every interview he does, I like him more. I love everything he's about. Seems like he's his own individual. Got paid $50-some million in guarantees. When he's on a field for more than 3 plays, let's assume defenses will play differently. When Ty Lockett is on the field, let's assume for more than 3 plays, let's assume defenses will play differently. This is just like the Colts not having Jonathan Taylor on the field against the Buffalo Bills. It's hard to judge how teams actually are whenever your star players, your 5 stars, your game changers, game wreckers are not on the field because that changes everything. With that being said, Pete Carroll went to bed last night going, what the fuck am I doing, dude?
Yeah.
He's still running at a pretty good clip. His gait at halftime running into the locker room was rather fantastic. Good. Hey, knee drive, not so much anymore. It's more of a lumber, but Pete Carroll can still move faster than anybody in this room currently.
For sure.
So he is a young 70-plus-year-old, whatever it is. But it's almost like whenever you lose 17 Pro Bowls between Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson, there's a chance that not only leadership is going to lack, but that team might be in the middle of turnover trying to find a new identity. Geno Smith got a lot of burn because Drew Lock got COVID. COVID's still a thing, by the way.
Okay, good to know.
Drew Lock very sick from COVID is what Pete Carroll said. So he got that strain, the OG one maybe, the old 1-9er that kind of took him out. I experienced a dance with 1-9er. I was vaxxed, got immunized, I think, through getting 1-9er. Got it again, did not get 1-9er. Got another basic-ass, bitch-ass one. So there's different strains. I guess Drew Lock did get the pretty heavy one. He'll be back. He had to watch that game go, probably still starter. Probably still starter here. Even though Orlovsky's entire conversation yesterday was, feels like Seattle wants Drew Lock to start. Well, they would want the person to start that they probably think is the better quarterback. Now, Dan Orlovsky was kind of alluding to the fact that they feel like they've already experienced a Geno Smith experience. Now let's go ahead and do Drew Lock. Geno, who I think just literally a matter of inches away from a much different evening last night. We'll be judged by this because he's been in the league for 10 years, so there's a lot of film out on Geno and how come Geno hasn't stuck and been the starter some places. You start looking back at where he was at the time and the situations they were. I'm sure Geno Smith's people will make a lot of excuses for why it didn't work out. And by the way, 10 years in the NFL, maybe it did fucking work out for old Geno Smith. But there's obviously a third down on the first drive where if that guy catches where Geno throws a perfect ball over the linebacker, in between safety and corner, and the guy, it literally hits him right in the arms. He drops it. They have to punt it. They make that there. That's a massive play, huge. Probably a momentum roller. Geno gets going. Obviously, tripping over a running back. If his foot's just like that much higher, he's not tripping over a running back on third down, embarrass himself falling down. Right. I mean, there's like a couple different situations that if they go differently, we're probably singing a much different tune about this entire Seahawks team. Instead, the conversation is Jakob Eason. He's the only one who was really able to score any points. He underhit, but he was very close there on the final drive. And the Chicago Bears might not be as big of a clusterfuck as we potentially think. Now, it was a Seahawks team. Those little things we just talked about did not go the Seahawks' way at all. No. They didn't play their two stars. It is preseason football. But at Viva La Zito, good for the Bears.
Hell yeah.
The Bears had a hell of a night last night. Justin Fields looked good. I think there was a couple plays he made where you're like, oh, that'll translate into regular season football. A couple plays he made that you're like, well, that's probably going the other way if it's a regular season. Looks like there was development. Looks like there was some growth. Getsy seems to be having a good time. Simeon's got a rebirth. He's running 4.2.
Yeah.
Travis Simeon's outrunning people. I'm watching Simeon run. I'm like, oh, he's going to get caught and get bodied. Nope.
Not a chance.
Making throws. Good for the Bears last night in the Eberflus era. Ryan Poles got a lot of airtime, had the AirPods in. What's your big takeaway from last night at Viva La Zito? Massive, blind supporter of the Chicago Bears.
Special teams. I think we forgot special teams there, too. Touchdown. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you got a touchdown on a punt. I mean, that is best play in football. And Gill, your punter.
Trey Gill.
Where did he go to school?
NC State, I believe.
Wolfpack.
He bombs the ball. He sits back. He sits back and he's bombing it.
He's a dog.
Pat O'Donnell, your former
traitor,
is now with the Green Bay Packers. I think you probably cut him or didn't sign him, so he's forced to go work somewhere else. So maybe you guys should just turn your backs on a guy that was there for a long time as opposed to him looking for. He's a much different punter than Gill was. 100%. He's just almost like 7-iron grooving. He's just going to groove punts. Not going to get a lot of oohs and ahs, but I always thought he was doing that because it was Chicago with how windy it is, the NFC North. It's not easy just to sit back and tag balls, and those J.K. Scott experienced that. Right. A lot of people have. You can't just sit back and bomb balls in bad weather places. He sat back and bombed balls, and I'm like, if he can do this on a consistent thing, Chicago's going to fall in love with that guy because it looks like the defense, if you can figure out Roquan. Now, Ryan Poles told Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick, and the boys that, Roquan Smith's a good player. Yeah, he's a good player. It didn't say great player. Didn't say the best player we've had over the last, 5 years or whatever. Didn't led the Chicago Bears in tackles the last 4 seasons. Has held up his end of the bargain. He was on the sideline, so he made the trip to Seattle. That's a long fucking flight to fly with the team if you're not going to be a part of it for the long haul. He's not playing, so that's a little bit different, but you got to be happy, Viva La Zito.
Very happy.
The Bears looked like a team with
disciplined as well.
Yeah, they didn't look like an inept squad. Yeah. Don't you think? Don't you think last night, Zito, that was what
for having as many rookies and new players in the team, and I think there's only 3 penalties for 28 yards as well or some shit like that. That's unheard of. It's always offsides for the Bears. Even under Nagy, it was literally 90 to 100 yards of penalties. And now I haven't seen many penalties the last couple games.
Eberflus, big accountability guy, formerly with the Colts. They say hey, he'll come in and he'll fucking set the culture. Connor, you're not a believer in either of those teams last night, huh? That game stunk. You said
no, not at all. I mean, I think the big worry for Fields is the offensive line was worse than Dan Orlovsky's mentions last night. They have a lot of problems. Fields is moving around a lot. Granted, he made some unbelievable throws while he was moving around, but I mean, there's no one that you can say on Seattle's D-line oh yeah, I know who that is. That's a guy. Where you look at the AFC North, not even the other games they're playing. Packers have an unbelievable D-line.
NFC North. Somebody's going to say this guy doesn't even know. Yeah.
Excuse me. I apologize. I was thinking they're also playing the AFC East. A lot of good D-lines in that division as well. So we'll see what happens. But Fields look great. So,
the Bears win.
A lot of hope.
Bears
exactly.
Seahawks look terrible.
Very bad.
They looked very, very bad. Now, Seahawks fans turned. There's a beautiful video of a lady on my Instagram account that Gumpy posted up there of her booing the team.
Yeah.
Just sick of it.
She's done.
I wondered this. The 12s up there have been a storyline for the Seattle Seahawks for a long time.
Yeah.
ever since the new stadium came in.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the loudest stadium in all of sport. The 12s go bananas.
Get the most false starts in the league.
Ever.
Yeah.
Impossible
Yeah.
to play up there.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in Seattle, right? They can save the world. They got a lot of other stuff going on in Seattle,
The
right?
XFL season.
The XFL starting up. They got a squad.
Yeah, Sounders look good this
Sounders
year.
look great.
course.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to travel up to the Portland Timbers, but I mean,
Maybe an NBA franchise.
Kraken.
Kraken are crushing.
Kraken are there. I mean, I know they're great sports fans up there in the Pacific Northwest, but I think they've been great sports fans specifically because they've had a team that's been like in it every single year. What's going to happen to that stadium if they have 1, 2, 3?
4.
What's going to happen? They got to turn that around. They know that, right? Pete Carroll's not waiting around forever either. I mean, there's no way Pete Carroll's going to go out on a dud, right?
No.
They're going to have to do something. And if you're Jimmy G, you're watching that game last night, you go like, yeah, I won't go Seattle Seahawks. Now, once again, DK Metcalf and Lockett changed the game completely, and we're overreacting to preseason. But they looked bad last night.
Yeah.
I mean, that was no fun, I assume, for any Seahawks fan to watch.
Well, and that's why you mentioned Pete Carroll, and obviously they're not very few teams, especially teams who have been good for the last decade or whatever, aren't just going to come out and say like, yeah, we're in full rebuild mode now. Like the teams that fucking stink do that because no one cares anyway. But do you think? I mean, Pete Carroll was the one who was saying, after Russ left, like, hey, we're just going to reload. Like, do you think in his mind, like he had realistic expectations? Because you're right.
Well,
I mean,
we don't know
it's
what's gonna
preseason.
happen.
We don't know what's going to happen.
happen.
But this team is much worse this year than they were last year. Like, that's just the way it is. And they didn't make the playoffs last year.
NFC West is really easy, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is a really easy go. I'm fascinated by it all. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah. Metcalf, Lockett, not in. Okay.
Game changers.
Game changers.
Game
sure.
wreckers.
Most
Defense
important.
have to play different whenever those two are on the field. So
Sure, but
Metcalf had 3 plays.
when the Bears were only playing their starters 6 to 10 plays, Geno Smith has played 4 quarters now this preseason and has scored 10 points, scored 0 last night. That's got to be alarming if that's going to be your starting quarterback.
remember, Dan Orlovsky said they're thinking about Drew Lock. Now, we will figure out what, because when Cam got a 1-9er, when he went up to the Patriots, he was not the same
same guy.
afterwards.
Changed the game.
Drew Lock, who know how he's going to bounce back after a 1-9er, maybe the lungs, maybe the little mental fog. We hope not. But, I mean, that was alarmingly bad last night.
They want Drew Lock to be their quarterback, right? Because I think you kind of know Geno Smith's ceiling, and you maybe don't know Drew Lock's yet. He's still super young, and maybe change the scenery will change. I assume that's why they want Drew Lock to come in and win that job, right?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Maybe. What? No. Maybe.
Mason
Why?
Rudolph.
Rudolph to Seattle.
Mason Rudolph
Now we're talking.
being a Seattle Seahawks.
That's as far as way you could get from Pittsburgh. So yeah.
with Jacob Eason.
That's how you make sure the 12s fucking stay coming to the stadium.
Absolutely.
I've said some things about Mason, but I think he starts over those two.
I mean, Drew Lock.
Once again, we have preseason game.
Yeah.
Drew Lock in practices slinging it.
Make all throws.
Has he been taking the first team reps and Geno hasn't getting first team reps? Or maybe was that second team reps when Geno and the running back weren't on the same page? That just seems like Geno was just like this much off on a couple different situations where the momentum probably goes a completely different way. But instead, they had to sit through that whole thing. The under hit last night, Tone.
Huge.
Yes, it did.
Which is, I mean, 1:30.
Bit sweaty.
All right, so I'm sleeping. Obviously, I fall asleep during that game because it was terrible.
So bad.
I tried my best because it was NFL football.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to retrain my body to survive these primetime games, by the way. I'm
You
starting to
and me both,
realize.
my friend.
Because with the off season, I've been, maybe passing out a little bit, doing this whole thing. We got to get back in here and not being old fucks and being able to survive through the
Well,
entire game. I'm
NFL
talking to me
Plus.
right now.
11:30.
Condensed games. Wake up in the morning.
Yeah, but
watch-
condensed games don't have special teams in there. They don't have the punts in there. They don't have the flow of the game in there. I enjoy watching the game
Sure.
because I enjoy the flow. Because I think you really learn a little bit more about the teams whenever you're kind of experiencing the games of them. So I like watching entirety of games. Now, not possible. Can't watch every game. And I'm going to learn that week 1. I'm going to be trying to watch every fucking game. And I'm going to realize, I'm really only watching like 3 of these games and only getting the highlights of those other games. So maybe I could watch the 45-minute clips to do that on NFL Plus, which is awesome. But I got to get back into the flow of watching. I passed out. I apologize.
Yeah, but-
it was 23-0, I think, at the time whenever I fell asleep. I forget what it was.
No one's gonna.
I wake up 1:30, like 8 left on the clock. And I see the only thing I bet was the under last night because in the first week of preseason, how many overs hit?
14-3.
14-3. So that just immediately makes me go, oh, so this next week is going to be a defense.
unders.
It's going to be defense dominated. I'm not sure if we're like if that's still my go-to after what happened last night, Jacob Eason 137 threw a touchdown, challenge overturned because you challenge every scoring play. There was 2 other plays where they were in as well, and had a fourth and goal from the 4 to win that. Any of those happen, including the touchdown that was ruled on the field, as soon as I open my eyes from my nap, I see the overhit and I go, oh, this is how this year's going to be. Like literally I was sleeping, I wake up, I look at the screen, 138, 137, touchdown. Let me look at the score. Oh, fucking come on. When did they score 11 already? And then bang, the overhit's right there. Then challenge happens, gets overturned, which I think watching it back here with a little clearer state of mind this morning, that should have never been ruled a touchdown. I guess it's preseason for everybody. But that it can all of a sudden I'm like,
Hold on.
have I been touched by the gods this year?
Tide's turning.
Yes.
Have I been touched by the gambling gods this year? Because normally, like last year, that happens. That's the touchdown.
Sure.
They're actually going for two-point conversion, and they're just hammering home everything. And then probably the kickoff is a shank off a guy's chest. That guy's running back to score a touchdown, and then like the over ends up being nowhere near it. That's what happened last year for a good portion of the year. It felt like as I was gambling. This year with that thing happening, I feel like I might be touched by the God's toad. And honestly, hammer, Dahn, I'm ready to go.
So last year it was 14-3 to the unders through the first week. So they made an adjustment this year at the sportsbook. All the totals last week were like 32 or lower, 33 or lower. Week 2 now, the lowest is 36. You got 36 and all higher totals. So you could see some undies here in week 2.
Got 3 games today. The Panthers are taking on the Patriots. They've had joint practices. That has gotten chippy. The Panthers will not be playing Baker Mayfield, who allegedly will be the starter going into the year, or Sam Darnold. Instead, it will be P.J. Walker in the first and third quarters, and Matt Corral, the rookie out of Ole Miss, in the second and fourth quarters. He'll be taking on Mac Jones, who will be playing.
Yeah, apparently a lot of the Patriots stars, if not all of them on offense and defense, will play at least one series.
You see Ton Diggs, that's literally the only research he's currently doing for preseason games. We like the Patriots in that game.
100%.
Although P.J. Walker is a great preseason football quarterback to have on your roster, not only because he's good, he can move. Corral allegedly can move as well. Joint practices all week, so I guess Baker and Darnold have gotten a lot of looks with the Patriots defense, keeping them safe for the game. We don't know why Matt Rule isn't playing either of those two. I mean, conspiracy people could be like, is PJ going to be number 2? And they're trying to figure out, are they trying to do that entire thing? Is that what's going on right now? We will keep an eye on that entire situation and probably call Sheena quick to see what's going on. But Mac Jones in the Patriots, and that's Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, and Mac Jones playing against Panthers all week. Let's assume they're going to have a pretty good plan.
Yeah, and a lot of depth and a lot of speed on the Patriots D-line. So P.J. Walker and Matt Corral, great athletes, but I think, they match up pretty well up front with those kind of mobile quarterbacks.
So I don't get to watch Hammer Downs on Friday because I'm normally on a plane. I assume we're going with the Patriots there.
Yeah.
5 is a lot.
A lot of points.
It's up to 6 now. It was 3 yesterday. Patriots were -3 yesterday. Corral had a rough preseason week 1, which you'll expect from normal rookies. He was 1 of 9. Against the Commanders.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I forget. Normal rookie.
Right.
Exactly.
Basic ass Matt Corral rookie.
Not
Exactly.
first round.
Yeah,
Is what
1 of
you're-
9, not 13 of 15. Best preseason debut of all time. It's not what we're talking about right
That
now.
was, right? The best preseason debut of all time?
Statistically, yes.
And game-winning drive.
Yeah.
Your team's there. Place goes bananas. I mean, the best start of all time, potentially, for a
Potentially.
It was
So-
against the team we were just talking about who played last night.
So you're going to have Mac and then Hoyer if he plays a little bit. And Bailey Zappi, was like 27 of 35.
The Seahawks fucking stink. Their fans have to be so miserable, just absolutely miserable with what's going on. I hope they continue to show up over there. Go ahead.
6 is a lot, though. 6 is a lot.
Ton.
But I think what we saw last week is Bailey Zappi can hold on to a lead or build on to it.
Yeah, Zappi
come
was slinging.
back.
He threw the ball, 40
Slinging it.
times or
40
something?
times. Yeah.
Then there's Saints at Packers happening this evening. Aaron's not playing.
No.
Jordan Love's playing.
Yes.
How was Jordan Love in week 1?
I mean, he threw 3 picks if you looked at it, but I think it goes back to what Rodgers was saying is the receivers were making a lot of mistakes and stuff like that.
Oh, so Aaron actually might have been most upset that those receivers were fucking over Jordan Love.
The quote that we talked about yesterday and that everyone was talking about obviously got a lot of the headlines, but yeah, if you expanded on it, that's basically what he said. He's like, it's really unfair to characterize what Jordan did, and a lot of people will because they'll look at the stat sheet, but he was like, none of those turnovers were his fault, essentially.
One was a drop.
Look at Aaron,
Right
though.
at the numbers.
So Aaron being a great teammate in the same quote, and I did not see the entirety of the quote there, to Jordan Love, a person who everybody would assume that he would absolutely fucking hate because of the whole situation. He was being a great teammate to Jordan Love, although he was potentially saying something publicly that myself and a lot of others were like, hey, that should be behind closed doors, I think is the proper way to handle it. But then as I started morphing and looking into it, I feel like he feels like he's a coach this year.
Yeah.
I like the videos that are coming out of training camp, and maybe this has happened all the time. It's just never shown because, the narrative about him was he doesn't care about anybody but himself. He's a fucking asshole. That's always been the narrative. So maybe these videos didn't make it out. Him like directing corners and like that video was a big deal because maybe it's the first time somebody's come up to him and asked, and maybe it's him feeling obligated to do so. But that motherfucker with the wealth of knowledge he has, wanting to give back to his team, I think that is awesome. And the fact that he stood up for Jordan Love almost while doing that whole thing, not a lot of conversation happened about that. We fucked that up as well. I did as well. That's big time. That's big news. So we like the Saints tonight.
Yeah, potentially. I mean,
They were bad last week, too.
Everybody.
So
Whoa.
Jordo's pretty good, and then Danny Etling, expatriate, came in and played really well for the Packers last week. And then, but I don't think Jameis is kind of coming off an injury. I don't know if he's going to play tonight. There's not a lot of
probably Ian
words.
Book again, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah,
So
and he
Packers
was-
are -3. Ian Book's not great in the NFL.
No, he was not great
Andy
last
Dalton.
week either.
It's Andy Dalton, and then probably going to be Ian Book for a long time. So I lean pack there.
Andy Dalton.
How much is Andy Dalton playing?
Probably not much. He's a vet, right?
Yeah, but maybe Dalton says, hey, I want 3 quarters.
Maybe.
Yeah,
You know?
but we went through that song and danced with Gino last night. And that was
Well,
Oh, you're saying
Andy Dalton.
Whoa,
Come
you
on.
go back and look at the fucking record books for Andy Dalton. No, Geno Smith, West Virginia guy. I got nothing
Exactly.
but love.
Look at his record books and look at the team he played versus the Packers team that Andy Dalton's going to play. It's basically evening out.
Look, Andy Dalton won 11 games like 5-6 straight years.
Yes.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
That still happened.
That was
though.
5-6 years ago.
Yeah, but you're just saying like, no, I don't think it was like 3 years ago, wasn't it?
2014, 2015? Bengals didn't win
That's
11
a long
games.
time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got traded on his birthday.
Yeah.
Cut on his
That,
birthday.
he got
then
knocked out, and his O-line didn't have
Didn't
back.
have
Back
And
in
the
Dallas.
And then the Bears last year.
And the Bears were what the Bears were.
Sure. I mean, I just don't want to jump the. Andy Dalton's a great player.
Yeah,
He's
but
been
I'm
a
just
great
saying,
player.
I think Geno Smith, 10-year quarterback, great run. West Virginia, let's go, pal. Last night got unlucky, a couple things.
Yes.
I think you're being very disrespectful to Andy Dalton's accomplishments in the NFL, like a lot of people are whenever you're just with a guy. I like Geno, but just doing that, I think is pretty fucked up. I just like to let you know that. And you just kind of let that fly out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And you need to, I think, reassess Andy Dalton's stature and how you remember his NFL career, personally.
Absolutely.
Can't just remember him from getting knocked out in Dallas and nobody else.
Seeing
did.
his head roll
Of course.
around on the turf.
Can't just judge him off of the Chicago Bears stuff where I don't think they gained a yard or two whenever he was there.
For a while.
But nobody did. I mean, I think they scored 0 points for 45 straight quarters or something like that. I mean, we can't judge that. We can't judge the end of his Bengals thing.
No.
You got to look into the entirety of his Rolodex of NFL memories.
Yeah, and if we were talking about it, for sure, when I'm looking at Packers -3 against the Saints tonight, I'm not thinking about Andy Dalton 6 years ago. I'm thinking about Andy Dalton we've seen the past 3 years, and yeah, I'm betting against him. Sorry.
Jeez. Andy Dalton does not deserve any of this.
No, he doesn't. But we just talked about Aaron Rodgers helping Jordan Love. Do I want the quarterback who's being helped by the back-to-back MVP, probably looking at his 3rd in a row, or do I want the quarterback who's been 3 years in a row kind of bad? I'm taking the Aaron Rodgers guy.
Yeah, but Andy Dalton, at least you're not taking Aaron Rodgers.
No, I'm taking the guy.
That was wild that you just started. You linked Aaron Rodgers into this. Because
Rodgers has come out and said this year, kind of comparing the Favre Rodgers situation to the Rodgers Love situation. You mentioned him being a mentor. Like, it seems like he's passing on more knowledge this year than he ever has before.
I agree. I'm on your side. And wide receivers are going to run the right routes too, right?
Well, they better.
Exactly. They got a fire lit under their ass. And granted, the Saints.
And defense is deep, right?
Yeah, I don't know how many of those guys want to play week 3, so I don't know how many of them are going to be playing tonight.
But is it deep? Is it a deep roster on the defensive side?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say fairly. Their defense is definitely the
So we got
strength
Packers
of their
tonight.
team.
I don't. By the way, there's a chance Dalton goes for 400 yards tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also,
Well, we've been saying it every game he has played though for the last 3 years.
yeah, he's got a chance.
So that is what you were talking about, basically.
Yeah, and the Saints wide receivers, I doubt, play as long as the Packers, first defense, just because Michael Thomas injury, Jarvis Landry, vet, proven, doesn't really need to do anything.
All right, so we got the Packers, we got the Patriots. -6 is a lot.
Love you, Andy Dalton, by the way.
No, you don't.
Just want to throw that out there. I
You
love
actually, you took your Boston dong out and pissed on Andy Dalton's entire legacy.
Look, Andy's great. But the last time he lit anything up was when he was slinging that ball around his backyard in that video.
Do you remember how good
sick.
that
Holy
was?
shit.
small,
Yeah.
Kind of a small side yard. It was a side yard. Remember,
Okay,
we
yeah,
were
yeah,
given a heads up
Yeah.
that was just a side yard.
Yeah,
That's
they
his
showed-
training
He was
yard.
actually trying to
200 yards.
replicate the Bengals training facility at that time.
Exactly.
The size
Exactly.
Of that.
But he was going to be a cowboy at that time. Yeah, you're right. He just, what did he know?
Yeah, correct.
Small, little, tiny little baby
Exactly.
thing. And then the last game, obviously, everybody's going to have eyes on this. Texans Rams. Yeah.
Okay.
Texans Rams 10:01 Eastern late night game 7:01 local time. That's prime time over there in LA.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, all of Los Angeles is going to come out for this game, right?
Every one of them.
Definitely.
And everybody is going to love to come out and watch their Rams, their Super Bowl champions.
that's right.
They're going to get to SoFi Stadium with an LED board. The host of WrestleMania coming up. Everybody's going to be flocking. It's going to be a tough atmosphere for Dougie Davis Mills, but he was born for this. How much time is Dougie Davis Mills playing tonight?
So Lovey said a little bit more than game one. I think he only got a drive in game one.
little bit more.
So maybe a quarter
him
for
2
Davey
quarters.
Mills.
Give him
And then
3.
you got
Yeah,
Kyle Allen,
the whole
former
game.
Panthers and football team quarterback who had COVID last week. I think he's back now. Going up against the Wolf.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and they got another guy, quarterback.
Not
for the
just any
Rams.
other guy. Bryce Perkins is a preseason hero quarterback.
This is Rams.
Yeah, he's a runner. He's pretty
Superstar.
Yeah,
He's a runner.
superstar preseason
He's
quarterback.
a thrower. He's a guy you know. Dirty just walked in here. He's a big time Rams
Rams
fan.
never play starters.
Dirty, do you know anything about this Rams team this year, or are you guys just banking on last year's team carrying into this year, Dirty?
It's probably a lot of last year's team and some of the new additions. We got a lot of depth this year in the secondary. And trying to build up the line a little bit.
See, the thing is, Dirty needs to be playing for the fucking Rams. Especially tonight in the preseason game.
Yeah.
Dirty, how do you feel about the Rams tonight as they take on the Texans, which are obviously in the middle of a massive rebuild?
I feel pretty confident right now. Not really worried about it because I think it's a bunch of position battles going on right now, especially in the secondary. We drafted a lot of guys.
For the Rams?
Yeah.
Caught Dirty in the middle of a meal. We do apologize for that.
He is, yeah.
So we like the Rams here. I think we all like the Rams probably.
Yeah, in game one, Bryce Perkins played the entire game, so I wouldn't be
Dog.
shocked if he does that again. And he's a runner too. I mean,
Primetime Doug.
you got Dave. This one, I think I'm gonna stay away from this one.
This one's too tough.
We're betting all the games. What are we even talking about? There's
Look
3
for-
games on. What are we?
Look for the Wolf to score on every possession.
If the
he
Wolf
has
plays,
the ball.
I don't know if he's playing.
Is his neck been fixed?
I think that's the last time we saw him, and they had to surgically take 4 feet out of his neck because it was that stretched out that much, and he's back.
What was his name again?
John Wolford,
Dog.
Yeah.
hungry like the wolf.
He started over Jared Goff, who is getting
playoff
paid
game.
$30 million
Yeah.
in Detroit right now to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah. They say Goff couldn't throw, and he came in and threw.
So Matthew Stafford, is he warming up? He going full pads, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose tonight?
Okay, Sean McVay said the Wolf will go for the first half.
Okay,
me
so
the
we
Rams.
like the Rams. So
Yep.
what do you mean stay away from anything? You got the Wolf, the guy who defied odds and he got his neck all the way back. I
You're
mean,
right.
Dougie Mills.
So we like the Patriots, we like the Packers, and we like the Rams. Boom! Let's
Sounds
do
good.
it. That's the first time I've ever done that left-handed.
Here we go.
Happy to have it. That means it's definitely going to hit.
Great omen.
And this was the gambling gods blessing me last night when I woke up and saw the 1:37 left on the clock, and they said, "Hey, don't what this?" And they said, "Don't worry about it, dude. Go back to sleep." And I said, "Thank you. That's 2 for 2." And I think tonight we go 3 for 3.
Hell
pal.
yeah.
Yeah, and because of that, and what happened with you last night, taking every under in all 3 of these games, even though I hate taking unders.
No,
Feels like
see,
you have to.
that's the thing, though. I feel like that was a warning shot, don't you think, from the gambling gods? Like, hey, you were dancing a little bit too hard on it's going to go under. It's going to go under. This is like we could have easily, the gambling gods we could have, hey, just like
Coulda
that.
had you.
Yeah.
Right there, could have done it. And then the next play, literally the next play, could have had you right there.
Be careful. The Rams scored 30 on their own last week.
Yeah, does joint practices do anything for this? Like the fact that they've been around the team and seen the offense for the past couple days, like does that change anything when you were playing at least?
We played the Bears in joint practice the only time we ever did it. And this is going to be, tough to think about, but I don't remember a single minute of that preseason.
Yeah, fair.
Not a single one. I've tried to think back to any preseason games I remember. The only one I remember, Cincinnati Bengals, when I got flipped by a guy.
Yes.
It was on Hard Knocks. He made the team because of it. So
There you go.
I felt like, hey, congrats, pal.
Got a good job.
Happy you
Debut.
made a job. That's really the only preseason game I can recall vividly and be like, this is what happened. That's the only preseason games are just such a like, oh, let's get rid of these memories so that we can have other ones come in there. And that's how we have to think about these games whenever we say like Seattle's trash and Seattle's dead and the Bears are good, because there's plenty of preseason Super Bowl champions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there are plenty of preseason terrible teams that somehow find their way. But last night, nobody will say the Seahawks look good. What will we learn tonight? Who knows? Who's going to be calling plays for the Patriots?
Probably in rotating cast again. Probably all three of them.
Is that good for football? Is that good for the team? Is Bill Belichick even care about the New England Patriots anymore?
I don't know.
The Packers. What will we learn about them? Nothing.
No, probably not.
Actually, nothing in that second. Saints Packers. There will be nothing to learn.
Maybe special teams again. See how special teams is. Rich Bisaccia has got things going a little bit differently. We'll see how Pat O'Donnell looks. I mean, outside of that, nothing.
Nothing matters in that game. Okay, and then the Texans Rams matter because the Texans.
Doggy will play a little
Starters. Yeah.
By the way, the Rams went 0-3 in the preseason last year. They won a Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, they're Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, Lions won undefeated.
And tonight we're betting on them. All right, let's get to a break.
They won week 1.
Yeah,
They
won
last
last year.
Oh, so they're not winning the Super Bowl this year. Oh, that's a shame.
Well said.
Sorry about it, Dirty.
I mean, who knows if they made the playoffs this year?
NFC West going to be a problem.
Yeah,
Especially with that Seahawks team. It's kind of finding its way.
that's right.
Trey
They
Lance.
look good.
I think there's one thing we know about that division. Is Kyler Murray ain't watching film leading up to the game.
All right, let's address it. Let's do it. It was Dan Orlovsky's birthday yesterday.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Ty? Your thoughts on Dan Orlovsky's debut in the money? By the way, it had to cost what? Another maybe $2,000, $5,000, $10,000? Who knows? To just add on a Thursday for all their graphics. Because at one point on the screen,
If not even.
they had Monday Night Football countdown, ESPN Monday Night Football. Then on the ticker was ESPN Monday Night Football, and it's like, is it not? Could we not just have this be like a Monday Night Football on Thursday?
Yeah.
Like an easy.
Please.
That's just an easy thing I thought to add on there, and that's me judging them being cheapskates or lazy and not wanting to do it. So that's on me for being an asshole. And I literally the first time I turned it on, there was Monday Night Football on 3 different times on the screen at the same time. It was like top of the screen Monday Night Football, background Monday Night Football, bottom Monday Night Football. I was like, couldn't you have easily just turned that into Monday Night Football on a Thursday? I think
2 seconds.
I think you could have made it a little bit different, but obviously they got much bigger things to worry about. RG3 was on the cast.
Yep.
I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah,
Is that,
he replaced Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is not going to be there.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe RG3 is replacing Randy Moss for Monday Night Countdown.
What
Yeah.
does Randy Moss do?
I wonder if he's just doing the Sunday show now.
Okay, so he said Sunday, Monday, too much for me.
Potentially, I don't know for sure, but I read online that RG3 is replacing Randy Moss for Monday Night Countdown.
I would like to let everybody know that I've gotten a chance to meet RG3. He was very nice to me. That's going to be a massive loss to Monday Night
Massive
Football.
loss.
Randy was the fucking guy.
Yeah.
He was starting to get a little bit more comfortable and more comfortable and more comfortable. They were starting to let him do whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
You got mossed. Was like the best segment they had.
He's on the field every single time. He's Randy fucking Moss. So literally
Yes.
everybody on the field that plays for any team sees fucking Randy Moss is here. Oh, that was my favorite player. Every position. Oh, that was one of my favorite players. That was one of my favorite players over there. He's gone. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. No offense to RG3.
No.
I think he's going to do well. I think last night he did well. He was alongside Boog, I believe, right? And then Schefter was on the far right. Little punditry out of Schefter last night.
Oh, yeah.
Little
He loves
punditry
it.
last
He
night.
loves it.
And they had Steve. I don't know if he's got COVID or didn't make the trip for this Monday Night Football on a Thursday. He was on his own isolated Zoom call shot. And this is their first
iteration.
This is the first time they did that. And Orlovsky, Riddick, Levy, Laura Rutledge on the sideline. This is their first time debuting. I'm sure the nerves were so high from everybody over there.
Swagoo. Why didn't they get Swagoo out there?
Well, I did see Swagoo tweet that basically everybody he knows is working this thing except for him.
Yeah.
What's that all about? What's that all about? Maybe he didn't want to travel. I mean, it's a lot, but I think they're only getting 2 or 3 games this season.
Yeah.
I think. Including that one. Then there's another preseason one. And then they have 2 games in the season.
Yeah,
or
they
whatever.
got some regular season.
This is the Monday night. So the on-game crew only getting 3 games. The pre-show and halftime, Susie, that's all year. That is the Monday Night Football cast.
With Troy and Joe.
I believe so. Because ESPN announced this week that they re-signed Hall of Famer Randy Moss, 3-time Pro Bowler Matt Hasselbeck, and Super Bowl champion Teddy Bruschi for Sunday NFL game.
Multi-Super Bowl.
Okay, perfect. So that means they had Troy and Joe doing a run-through last night. Did you know that?
Allegedly, yeah.
I
So
saw
they
that
were
on the
having
internet.
2 different trucks run? Because, like, Laura Rutledge doing a sideline. Who's the Monday Night Football sideline?
Ooh, did they bring over?
No?
No,
because Aaron stayed with Fox, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so they just did 2 different broadcasts last night, I assume? Full broadcasts? And Joe and Troy had to get used to it, or the producers of ESPN?
Lisa Salters.
Lisa Salters. So
okay.
was she there as well? They were
No,
doing
I
a
didn't
full walkthrough, I wonder?
Yeah, because they don't need to, like, it's Joe and Troy. They're vets. Is it strictly for the producers and the directors?
I would assume, yeah, with Joe and Troy to get like a feel for it all.
Didn't Kirk say he was going to be there last night with Al too, or no?
No, I think they had a meeting in LA. I don't know. I have no idea.
He said they were doing a mock game too, but I don't know if it was last night's game.
A lot of mock games, a lot of everything going on.
So close.
Orlovsky was getting killed on here.
He was
It was
big.
bad.
He didn't deserve it.
We'd like to let everybody know, don't kill Orlovsky. Dude.
Come on, give him a
Great
break.
guy. It was his birthday.
He's got 3 games this year.
Yeah.
3 games this year.
He's on ESPN.
And also-
50,000 hours a year.
50,000 hours. And all he wanted to do was just call some NFL games.
Yeah.
Right.
He got a chance to do it. I'm not going to bury any previous people that have been in there. I thought Orlovsky was better than some of the people that have been in the booth in the past.
100%.
For
I
sure.
think, by the way, I think Dan Orlovsky was better last night than he was at the noon college games.
I think so too.
I think Levy was better than he was last year, I think. I think Riddick was as well. But goddamn, the internet had 0 time for any Orlovsky bullshit last night.
Yeah, and I think Dan has just become such an easy target, like with people online and stuff.
Well, with
because-
us too.
Well, for
Because,
sure, for
his
sure.
daily punditry.
Exactly, which other people are seeing that as well. But it's also like that. That game was so shitty. I didn't watch it really long enough to even give him a fair shake. So I don't want to say he was terrible or anything because he definitely wasn't. But
Well, I also fell asleep.
yeah, I also didn't watch very much of the
It did
game.
stink.
Yeah,
But if you're on the Seahawks fan base
sure.
or I forget which team Dan hated last night. I was scrolling through his.
Chicago. He was bashing Chicago.
Okay, so he was bashing
So
Chicago.
He earned some of it. He deserved it.
Well, no, let's just say that those are maybe emotional
birthday, though.
responses.
He really liked Fields, though. He was very
did.
complimentary of Fields.
Googling or searching Orlovsky last night on Twitter was a pretty fun little exercise,
Yeah,
but it was
a
not.
bloodbath.
It was not mostly positive.
No.
Not
And Dan's
at all.
on his phone. He's in Twitter.
Yeah, he sees it.
He sees all that. I'm thinking he shouldn't.
Yeah, maybe get
Like
out
my
of there.
first maybe 15 times, maybe 20 times doing WWE stuff, I could not look at my mentions while I was on air because all the WWE fans hated me. I mean, like openly, loudly hated me. Who's this uninformed, loud douchebag? And it would have affected my actual performance. So the fact that Dan is mentally tough enough to scroll through those while he is live on air, I'm pretty impressed by that.
Yeah.
And also just the fact that it is the brand he's working for is Monday Night Football, so people are immediately going to compare that booth to Troy and Joe, which they'll never be Troy and Joe.
Unfair.
Like that's just the way it goes. But like that's going to happen every time those guys call a game.
How easy just to add on a Thursday?
Well, like you said, cheapskates.
Well, I don't know if it's cheap. It may be, right? It had to be.
Well,
Or lazy. One of the two.
Or didn't think of it.
Yeah.
They dump money into the graphics. Those things delivered once again.
Yeah.
With the fish flying
Yeah,
at Pete
Pete
Carroll.
Carroll catching the
yes.
Lombardi.
Awesome. Those are some of the best moments.
Yeah.
My favorite, best part of football, not the best part of football season, but Monday Night Football last year when the booth did stink.
The animations.
The animations.
They were
just
hilarious.
Awesome.
And those
Always.
can't be cheap to make. So if you're making those for a preseason game, you're willing to spend money on it, right?
I wonder if it's like a bundle package with the animator. Like, hey, we want you for this season. Includes preseason games.
Actually, I think Fantasy Bill is the guy that does the animations for Monday Night Football.
Bill Platchkey?
No. The guy who's on ESPN who does fantasy football now, I
The
believe.
guy with the long hair?
Yeah, I
Danny
think-
Dopp.
He's fucking. He knows his fantasy shit.
Where's Matthew Berry?
Matt Berry, I believe, is
NBC.
with. Yeah.
Whoa.
He built up his fantasy football conglomerate by birthing fantasy football.
Yes.
Then he got bought out by NBC. Congrats to Matthew Berry.
Yeah. Well, he came on this show and Tony dunked on his face, so I don't know.
Well, he just
how he
didn't
did that.
understand what a real RB2 or WR3 might be.
You don't like Matthew Berry?
I love Matthew Berry.
Doesn't sound like it.
Didn't sound like it at all.
What are you talking about? He's God.
Well, yeah, but you were cutting him off every time.
In our fantasy world, he's God.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Tomlinson, yeah, we know who has the most touchdowns for an
Guess
RB1.
who, and before he could even get it out to
Let Daniel Tomlinson. Shut up, Matthew. Give us something we don't know. That's what you were saying. You felt almost like he was trying to alpha your fantasy stuff.
Well, I mean, until he realizes like that fucking
Fantasy tone is king.
yeah.
Tony
Speaking
has
of, we'll stop the music again. We won't go to a break because this is a good time to make an announcement. We're having fantasy football league. This year.
Hell
Here we go. Come on now, boys.
Everybody will have their own team except for me. I'll be with CFO Phil, and AJ Hawk will be with Bill.
Here we go.
There will be a draft live on Twitter. Space what?
Does AJ know?
Oh, he does.
I texted him. He didn't answer, but
he knows.
he's now learning, I guess, alongside everybody else. Me and CFO Phil will be beating everybody else in this office in fantasy football. It's Bruce's league.
Yep.
Bruce is the commish. Bruce is the one setting everything up. We have a draft on Spaces, I think, and it will be a snake draft.
Correct.
That's right.
We're getting half-point PPR.
That's right.
We got
Standard roster.
standard rosters,
Yep.
2 kickers.
Two kickers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Two
That's
kickers.
not a standard
One
Not a
roster.
IR
standard
spot.
roster.
One.
I wasn't around for that. What?
Yes, you were. You were voting.
Yeah.
You were actually pretty loud in the whole voting.
No. I was
Two
way
kickers?
over. on
Two
the side.
kickers.
Two kickers.
yeah.
2 kickers.
There's not even that many kickers.
That's the thing.
That's why it's going to be sweet.
That's why me and CFO Phil maybe a little bit of an advantage.
Oh.
Even though there is zero chance I'm going to pay attention to any of this 2 days after it happens. I'm excited to get into the fantasy world. People love fantasy, I guess.
Love
it.
fantasy.
Live for it.
ESPN had a full L graphic on their every show for 3 days talking about fantasy football. I thought sports gambling had come in and just completely knocked that out, but it's not in every state. In fantasy, I guess, people really enjoy the community of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Tens of millions of people.
Even
play
if
fantasy
people are not doing leagues anymore, are still doing daily.
football. Yeah.
DFS.
DFS.
Pick a new lineup every week. Don't have to worry about injuries and stuff.
All right, let's get to a break. That's big news that we're doing a fantasy football league.
Yeah,
Pumped
huge.
for this.
What is it? I think it's $50,000 to the winner, which will be $25,000 to the person, $25,000 however they would like to give it away, whether it's
Yes.
charity or Twitter or YouTube, whatever, however. And then also, what's the loser got to do? Oh, they got to wear a sign in Radio Row.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
for a whole day.
Thought they were sleeping at Bill's house.
All right.
Well, that was too cruel, so we had to
Yeah.
adjust what we were going to do.
Dude,
Bill also
You
didn't
didn't
want
hear.
to.
You didn't hear what fucking we found out today about Bill's house.
What?
Guy's got fucking 12 cats. He just bought a hamster to add on to it.
Well, that thing's dead.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
The hamster's going to be dead. If any of those cats are anything like any of the cats that I have, if there's a little rat-looking fuck that was sitting in the house, I mean, those cats
Well-
have that thing in their mouth.
Well, Bill survived, so
I mean,
That's
that,
coming.
my house must smell
All right,
fantastic.
let's get to a break, dude. We're back in 4 minutes. The show. Bill, you didn't deserve any of that, Bill.
Love you, Bill. For the record, he didn't want us staying over at his house either, because then he would have to kill one of us while he killed other people. Just to be fair.
We're back in 4. It's the Pat McAfee Show. We answer some phone calls. Big fantasy football year this year.
Pumped.
right.
AJ Hawk will join us in about 15 minutes, and this song stinks.
This one?
Dude,
It's a mashup of songs, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that song is weird.
Removed from this playlist. Gone. See ya.
What happened to
See
the
ya.
guy playing the trumpets and the saxophone on there? Sound like Bruno Mars.
You talking about Timmy Trumpet?
No, I forget who it was.
Anyways, Dan Orlovsky has sent us a tweet on his Feel Good Friday.
What?
I don't know if we're able to pull it up. Double fist bump.
Hell yeah.
Love you, Dan.
Love you,
Love you,
Dan.
Dano.
Congrats, Dan. That was a cool thing because they didn't put on a Thursday on the graphic. So it was cool to see Dan in the Monday Night Football booth. Like, I was
Yeah.
actually happy for him.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
sweet.
And he looked really good because he hasn't eaten all summer.
Yep.
Yoked.
Did you see him eating that cupcake?
No, did he?
With a candle. He was eating the cupcake
Oh,
with a candle.
birthday.
Yeah,
His
as
birthday.
a spoon.
That was during the game last night?
Yeah.
That was after his 23 zip, I assume?
Yeah.
I was out. If it was after 23
Happy
zip,
birthday.
before 137 left, 138 left on the game, I missed it all.
Yeah,
Sure.
wasn't there.
So I have to go back and watch. Obviously, you get the flow of Dan Orlovsky's game, but I'm happy for him. Happy birthday, Dan. We're back and forth some phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Feel Good Friday, August 19th.
quite the night at SummerSlam as well.
It was an absolute honor to be on that card in front of 48,449 members of the WWE Universe. I've kicked balls my whole life, but a ball kicking I did on Saturday, I will remember for the rest of my life. Hey, Truck, can you please run a replay of that beautiful beam-busting footage? Here you see a big right. Bum-ass Corbin knocks Charles Robinson onto the ground. Charles Robinson, obviously, Hall of Fame official, and this big dumbass got him out of the way. My eyes on Charles out of the way, and bum-ass Corbin, distracted, knew that I was in for something magical. The scene was set. The balls were kicked, Cole. Charles Robinson couldn't see it because he was down because the big dummy got him knocked over. Bang to the beans. And then a quick how you doing and suck it, sir. Just a magical moment. The drums are banging and the balls are crying. Just Friday night, if you do recall, this man kicked me in the balls from behind. So just one day later in Nashville, Tennessee, with this foot right here that has made millions, say it, Cole, millions and millions of dollars with my eyes on the prize here, the tiny target spot, this big dumb face. I knew that this was all she wrote, because whenever the foot starts swinging, the balls start ringing! The balls start ringing! Cole, look at his big dumb face. You can almost see it happening. Ouch! He said, I heard him. His breath smelled terrible. He was saying, ouch, my ball hurt. You get it. A magical evening, and it's a storybook moment that'll go in the documentary of my life forever. And I've never been more proud of myself. I've never been more excited for something, but when that foot hit his balls, I was in pure euphoria.
Hey, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on Feel Good Friday, August 19th. We're in the middle of preseason, but storylines are cooking.
Oh, yeah.
One in specific is, where will Jimmy G be playing quarterback? Where will the handsome Paisano Jimmy Garoppolo play quarterback this upcoming season? Because he's currently under contract with the San Francisco 49ers. He has led the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl in the past and NFC Championship games. But what will he look like this upcoming season? Who will he be playing for? Will the San Francisco 49ers be cutting him or trading him? And with Trey Lance being there, the Niners have told him, you work out different field, don't even come around the team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a couple of reports coming out about Jimmy Garoppolo that are not very positive, and I don't know why this would be getting out right now when it seems like we're on the precipice for him going to another team. But Chris Sims on Pro Football Talk alongside Mike Florio had this scathing take about Jimmy Garoppolo as a leader and as a quarterback of an NFL team.
Franchise quarterback, you're all in. It's a 12-month-a-year job. There's no offseason for a franchise quarterback. And apparently there was some dismay that in 2018, after he got his money, he just disappeared until it was time to show up for the offseason program.
I know so many people out there in San Francisco, Kyle couldn't keep track of it. I've heard this from players, ex-coaches there. He goes off the radar all the time. All the time. Nobody can get in contact with him. But his first year in offseason there, that's when I was made aware of it. I'm not going to name the player I was at, but I was at an event, and the player, who is a long-standing player with the 49ers, was like, I can't get the quarterback to call me back. I've called him every day for a month. You hear it from everybody. I've heard it from ex-coaches who have moved on and just gone, yeah, it's weird. You know, The organizations tried to reach out to him times and explain things to him, and they can't get a hold of him, to the point where I think they've had to like drive to his house and knock on the door and be like, hello, are you alive? Are you there? So, yeah, I mean, I think that's why there's the 49er fan base that wants, why are we getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo? I think there's more than just the play on the field at hand here. And, yeah, I think a lot of the NFL knows these stories a little bit. And I think that's why maybe, we've had some teams kind of drag their feet and not sure if they really want to go all in on the Jimmy Garoppolo trade.
So that knucklehead right there, that goofball was Chris Sims. And obviously we know Chris Sims is former NFL quarterback, son of
Phil Sims.
Phil Sims, who's been in the media game his whole life. Chris Sims, formerly of Bleacher Report. Now he's with NBC and Pro Football Talk and Football Night in America. He's well known because he's best friends with Kyle Shanahan.
Yep. College roommates, yep.
College roommates with Kyle Shanahan. And that's why he led off his statement with saying, I know so many people over there, Kyle couldn't keep track of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and say it's not just from his direct best friend, who is now the head coach of the team in which Jimmy G plays for. He's getting his information from other people as well. I don't know who's just openly talking to Chris Sims about what's going on with Jimmy G on a regular basis, but we don't know who Chris Sims knows. We have no idea what it is. Could be from Kyle, though, is what some people are thinking and automatically assuming when Chris Sims talks about the Niners situation, might be coming from Kyle. He's clearly saying it did not. So we just have to take him for his word that it did not come from Kyle. Now, it is tough to hear something like this and take it that serious because we have had somebody on our show who's a former president of a baseball team, David Sampson. And this is literally what Sampson said. Now, Marlins and baseball is a different league, different sport. This is what he had to say about the end of a run for some guys whenever it comes to a team and how they're going to handle business. I've been told that the MLB will float out a proposal that they haven't officially made yet to the media, see how the people respond, and then they're like, okay, good, this one's fucking good, let's write it down, we'll send this over as an actual proposal. Is that something that the MLB has done for a long, long time now? Is that kind of the move?
So what we would do is we would float, when we wanted to sign a player, we would float it out there to see what sort of reaction we get to a certain player, whether it may move the revenue needle. If we were going to trade a player, we would start floating out, listen, this may not be the best teammate. We may have a clubhouse issue, so we could try to ease the pain when we're making a trade because of money. When we're doing some sort of promotion.
So like that is, it's hard not to just immediately think of that now anytime any bad story gets kind of run about a quarterback that we thought was like the ideal model teammate. Have not heard any of this. Aside from him potentially being on the tabloids dating porn stars. Right. Don't really know.
Sorry about it.
Sorry about it, says Jimmy. We don't really know anything about Jimmy off the field. Now, this close to his departure with a new quarterback on the horizon for the Niners, there's this story being released about how it's not just on field, it's also off field stuff. That's hard for me to believe, I think. Honestly, it is. So we said, you know what we need to do? Let's go ahead and call somebody that might have a little bit more information. Let's go ahead and call somebody that has boots on the ground in the San Francisco market. Beat writer, this isn't Feel the Beat for the San Francisco 49ers. But this is not just anybody. This is at Lombardi himself. Ladies and gentlemen, David Lombardi.
Yeah, David!
What's up, dude?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Hey,
Good to be on.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. This is not Feel the Beat, so we're going to have to get you into that segment at least one time. This is just conversation right now. Chris Sims had an entire take about how he knows a lot of people in the San Francisco 49ers organization, not just Kyle Shanahan. He's college roommates with Kyle Shanahan. I assume he's been around the Niners organization, knows a lot of best friends of yours. So let's just take him for his word that this didn't come from Kyle Shanahan. But he talked about how, Jimmy Garoppolo's a basically bad teammate, bad leader, not around much, can't find him, he disappears out of nowhere. Then we played a David Sampson thing, MLB president. He said they would leak bad information about a player they're about to trade so that the fans can get a little bit more on board with potential departure of player. What is this story, and how come you, covering the Niners, haven't told us about this? Jimmy G is not a pro quarterback, not an NFL quarterback. What is real, what is not in this entire Jimmy G saga about him just disappearing and not being a leader or whatever? This has come out of nowhere for us. Are we wrong?
Yeah, I don't think it's come out of nowhere. George Kittle, for example, has been joking for a couple years that Jimmy G is really hard to get a hold of in the offseason. You go back to some of his old social media posts, there's a picture of George sitting next to Jimmy's locker showing him something on a phone, and George captions it saying, "I'm showing Jimmy how to use the new iOS because apparently he doesn't know how to use his phone." Doesn't get back to me for like a lot of time over the course of the offseason. But this was like a joking matter. And Jimmy had always, reported to the first day of OTAs, phase one, whatever you want to call it. And I will add that in 2020 in the offseason, they all met in Nashville and worked out, a lot of the star players. And supposedly Jimmy was the ringleader. So, to those close to the team, this is like not surprising. The fact that it's being made into something this big is surprising, if that makes sense. But we've had the tea leaves already ahead of time.
So he's made it to every OTAs. He, I guess, put together a skill workout in Nashville, which is where Kittle lives, I assume, right? Didn't know where Kittle has a house.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, although this is potentially true, that there are moments of the year where Jimmy G is impossible to get a hold of. Who knows what he's in?
Yeah. Shame.
Who knows?
We know what
I mean,
he's in.
George has this running joke. Jimmy won't text me back. And that's been a running joke since like 2017. George was a rookie in 2017. Jimmy joined the 49ers in 2017. So it's not like foreign. I've heard these rumors before, but now they're turned into something that's being used to negatively frame Garoppolo as opposed as a joke.
And which it has been kind of just a joke for a long time. Now, do you think other NFL teams are worried about this joke that is being made into something, and that's why nobody has maybe offered up a big-time trade or had as much interest as we could think, aside from the shoulder injury that has just got healed up, I guess?
No, listen, this is the way I look at it. The offseason, we saw the shoulder injury obviously cool the trade market. But now the 49ers are between a rock and a hard place because after August 30th, or I guess on September 10th is the exact date, Jimmy Garoppolo's contract is going to become guaranteed if he stays with the 49ers. And they obviously want the cap savings. So all these prospective teams, if there's somebody interested in Jimmy Garoppolo, knows that the 49ers are probably going to have to release him. And probably are going to release him within just a couple of weeks. So now it's this waiting game, and I don't think the 49ers will be able to trade him unless somebody gets really desperate, right, and they want a quarterback in their camp right now. So I think the lack of a trade has more to do with just the market dynamics. First it was the injury, and now it was the fact that they're up against the corner, and they're probably going to have to release him.
Last question here. Nobody in San Francisco thinks Jimmy G isn't a franchise quarterback, a leader, everything like that, bad teammate. Nobody thinks he's a bad teammate, bad leader, bad franchise quarterback, or are there some people that have their worries?
I mean, it was just the opposite, right? There were physical limitations, especially when he got hurt this past year, but everybody was just banging the drum for how good of a leader he was and how much they liked him in the locker room. Yeah. So that's why all this talk about him, not being a leader, that kind of comes out of left field. We know that he doesn't text back for certain parts of the offseason. But as far as leadership goes, that was for 5 years that I've covered him. That was the one strong suit that people would consistently point to inside the 49ers locker room.
Okay, so just like what Samson said, kind of maybe that is the thing. Who knows? Last question. Which Lombardi are you related to? We assume all Lombardis are related at some point. Has to be probably some town, same town in Italy. Are you related to any of the Lombardis in football currently or in the past, or is it just happenstance?
Only by name. Can't lie to you guys. But do you know what Lombardi means, I guess?
It means fucking win a football game.
Championship.
It means the long bearded one. So I started working on the beard this off season. The Lombards, right? So those were the northern Italians that kind of, when the Roman Empire fell, you had like the Germanic people come and like sack northern Italy, and they had long beards. So they called them the Lombards.
And the Lombards also very pale-skinned, as opposed to the southern Italians have the olive skin.
Yes.
Right?
We're taller, too. Taller.
Okay. Hey, Paisan, we appreciate you joining us and getting to the bottom of that. Ladies and gentlemen, David Lombardi.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, hour two will be on the other side of this minute-and-a-half break. We'll talk to AJ Hawk about that. So it seems like there is some truth in what Chris Sims was saying, but nobody really viewed it as like
a negative.
An absence of leadership. They just said like, Jimmy disappears for a few weeks in the offseason.
Guy likes his off time.
Which makes sense.
Guy heads to an ocean or an island somewhere and just kind of does whatever the fuck he wants.
Unplugs. Yeah.
All right, we're back in about a minute and a half, which, by the way, some teams might not like. So there's a lot of truth probably to what Chris Sims had to say, but the narrative that was probably being built by a lot of people after hearing that, David Lombardi says, not the thought around San Francisco at all.
Right.
Good. Happy we did that. We're back in a minute with hour two and AJ Hawk. We'll see you then.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to this Feel Good Friday, August 19th edition of the Pat McAfee Show. Hour 2 begins immediately following this beat drop from a talented individual named Twine.
Here we go, atta baby.
That's right, hour 2 here, guys. We lead into preseason week 2 weekend. Last night, preseason week 2 kicked off in beautiful week 3?
Week 2.
Week 2, but 3
Hall of
with the
Fame.
Raiders Hall of Fame game.
Right.
They need to stop that.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I don't want to, I don't know how much sway we have in any portion of life. That Hall of Fame game needs not to happen. Players hate it, coaches hate it, fans hate it, media hate it. Have an event. Have like a
quarterback challenge.
Have like retired quarterback challenge.
Yeah,
That'd be sweet.
Hall
of Fame
challenge.
challenge.
Yeah,
like
get
alum.
fucking Marino and Brett Favre out there and let them run.
And
Peyton.
Vinatieri, have them run that blitz
exactly.
game.
Yeah, that's right. NFL blitz.
Making an event as opposed to making it guys having to go back to training camp earlier than everybody else, us watching the game, hating it, then have another week and a half till more games. It's just, I assume more people watch Hall of Fame game than like any other sports events.
Sure.
So it's going to be hard to just change that. But I think if you do anything with NFL related with big names, it's going to draw eyes as well. Nonetheless, week 2, preseason weekend kicked off last night as the Bears stampeded the Seahawks in Seattle. We got a lot of games today. 3 games, Panthers at Patriots, then Saints at the Packers, Texans at Rams. Then tomorrow, Lions at Colts. I think we'll be there. Steelers at Jaguars, Cowboys at Chargers, Broncos at Bills, Niners at Vikings. And then Sunday, there's 2 more games. So it should be a NFL-filled weekend, and I cannot wait for it. The Talks the Tables here at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. Tone Diggs is one half of the Hammer. Dahn, Cowboys, he is here as well. Joining us from Manatee, Ohio, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, the haircut looks better day 2 after that thing.
Yeah.
You look good. You look fantastic. Did you watch the game last night? Seahawks look bad. Just preseason. Though, AJ.
I watched most of it. I would imagine Zito feels pretty good about what his Bears did. Justin Fields moving the ball. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to block for him. I mean, they're very lucky he is very athletic and can make a lot of plays with his feet. But, it was a positive step for the Bears. Seahawks, I don't care either way for them. I think they'll be okay.
Do you feel attached to Justin Fields because he's also Ohio State meathead?
No, I don't feel attached. I'm a fan of his, absolutely. But I don't know what it's going to be like this season. I feel like if they're going to be good, he has to play very, very well.
And a lot of things are going to have to go their way, I think. For instance, Geno Smith went to West Virginia, so I do feel like I should stick up for him for what happened last night, what has happened over the last 4 quarters. He has played for the Seattle Seahawks as their quarterback in a competition for the starting role in his 10th year in the NFL, which is very successful. I mean, that first drive, that third down, that thing, that gets caught, that's a completely different ball game. And that was a beautiful ball. Over a linebacker, in between corner safety, like right on a dime. Perfect. Ball gets dropped. We're punting. Chicago's coming back the other way. Guns a-blazing. The Chicago Bears, by the way. Seattle, the Seahawks fans, fucking the 12s, which might have a couple of rough years coming ahead of them. We'll see how dedicated they remain to the Seahawks, which they will say a lot. We'll see. With no Russell Wilson, no star really. That kind of brings all the energy out of that stadium. Completely different game. Him tripping over the running back, I mean, that's literally that far off, his cleat off of that. You trip, fall down there, that changes the entire game. Jacob Eason comes in, slings the ball around a little bit, but I feel like the Seahawks were this close a couple different times last night, but doesn't it feel like the teams that lose a lot of games always like this close? Like, it's just like, seems to not be going their way. And for the Seahawks, not only do you lose Wagner, not only do you lose Russell Wilson, 17 years of Pro Bowls between the two of them, you lose an identity, I think, on offense. Now, DK and Ty aren't playing, but and if the football gods are working against you, I mean, fucking A, it might be a long year up there in Seattle. It's just preseason, but fucking A, that might be a long year, AJ Hawk.
I mean, it absolutely could be. And like the Legion of Boom defense, that's been gone for a little bit, but there's still been traces of it. Obviously, having Russ there, you're like, okay, we remember what it was like when the Legion of Boom was there. And then when Bobby Wagner, he's off the defense, like, all right, now we're officially moving on to like a new thing here in Seattle. So there may be some growing pains along the way, but I mean, maybe they can be one of those teams that kind of flies under the radar, but too bad their division's too good around them.
NFC West, yeah, that's going to be very difficult, I think, in the NFC West. I'm excited to see the Seahawks fans.
I hope it's the same atmosphere. I would imagine it will be early for sure, but if they are not successful, how do they continue to bring that juice?
Week 1, I bet you it'll be packed, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, well, let's see how the team does.
Yeah.
Regular season could be completely different than preseason for a lot of these teams that we're going to judge and overreact to because we do a daily show and NFL football's back, so we have to. No DK Metcalf, no Lockett. The defenses are playing vastly different, right? Just like the Colts against the Bills. Jonathan Taylor's not in the backfield. The Bills' defense is playing very different. So the Colts aren't necessarily seeing what they're going to see in the game because they're without fucking MVP cannon in the back. So we have to take that into account, right? Don't we, AJ? I think we have to.
Yeah, I think it absolutely all plays. It's a factor. And I know what the Giants D coordinator's taking shots at Bill Belichick because they were calling a few too many blitzes. Yeah, so
well, he
things
got
like
those
that
exotics. AJ, they got those exotics. You know, amoeba.
The amoeba. They might pull out the amoeba defense.
So Wink does.
They do. That's what do you remember Ravens defense? They're an amoeba. You never know who's where. They're always changing, fluctuating, kind of, around.
Yeah.
They got to work that. It's first year institute, and none of the players there have ever played that style of defense. So Wink's like, hey, we're on to Cincinnati, but also, Bill, fucking, what do you want me to do?
Sorry about it.
What do you want me to do, Bill? None of these guys ever played this style of defense. I had it for fucking 20 years with Baltimore. Everybody that came there basically just went through, hey, this is our defense 101 from the older players and film and everything. Now I got nothing. Bill, what the fuck do you want? We're on Cincinnati, but Bill, what the fuck do you want me to do? Basically, that's kind of what Wink said, I think. I didn't hear all those words, but I do feel like that is kind of what Wink said. But you're right. Like that defense, they're going to run blitzes all the time because that's what their defense naturally is. But a lot of these teams aren't showing shit right now either, offense or defense. So it's hard to judge. But Seahawks fans have to be pretty bummed. You know what I mean? Like have to be pretty bummed about everything going on.
I mean, I just don't know what positive things do they have going. If you look at the Seahawks right now, okay, all these teams have certain things that they like hitch their wagon to, and they're pumped for the season. I mean, we know Evie is so juiced about the Lions and everything they have. What do people have to be excited for when you look at Seattle?
Well, see, Evan though has and by the way, I think Evan will be back next week.
Sweet.
Miss Foxy.
Love you, Foxy.
Love you, Foxy. He's a handsome son of a bitch, I guess.
Very handsome.
From Detroit.
Very handsome.
But the Lions fans, I think, reasonable. Hey, we're going to win 10 games this year. And we're going to get to the playoffs. And I think he says playoff win. Like, that's their goal. Mm-hmm. That has been their goal for 20 years. We just want to win a playoff game. That's all we want to do. That's the expectation. That's it. And at this stage of the NFL calendar, any team can believe that, right? I mean, that is literally something any team's fan base can believe. So Lions expectations versus Seahawks fans' expectations. I wonder, are Seahawks fans that realistic after going to the promised land numerous times, having a guy, are they?
They're not realistic. Fans are not realistic. You can't be. If you're a fan of a team, you can't
Lions
be
fans
realistic.
are.
It's a rebuilding year. It's a rebuilding 2 or 3 seasons for us. They can't think that. And it might not be that. That might not be the case. Some guys could step up, but hey, it sure looks like it might be.
But I'm saying Lions fans are realistic, I think, though. They're like.
They legit saying 10, 11 wins and a playoff win.
Yeah, that's not saying they will do it. They're saying that's what they're hoping.
Best case scenario.
Yeah, they're very hopeful for that. They think it's a real possibility, which I think why not? You should think that.
Any team. The year we were 2-14 and we had basically nobody playing, there was 9 one-score games that we could imagine if we go 11-5 that year.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have happened. The ball goes. For whatever reason, though, it seems like the bounces normally go to the team that's better and works harder. And,
does all the little things throughout the year, and all of that stuff adds up.
And that's not just football, by the way. That's life. It feels like luck seems to go in the favor of people that, maybe treat the universe in the proper fashion as opposed to other people. But still, got to get fucking lucky in some of those games. That year, we were awful. Got the number 1 pick. We were bad. There was 6-7 games where should have won.
Right there.
Hey, actually should have probably won. So every team, I think, every team's fan base can have the mindset we can make the playoffs this year. And if we get in a dance, you never know. But I think there's some teams, because they've had success, that the Colts expectations, fans, fucking Super Bowl, dude. What are you even talking about? Phil Rivers got to the playoffs with in his first year or whatever. They lost to the Bills. Like, I don't know if anybody here in 5 years will even remember Phil Rivers' like run as a quarterback here, because it wasn't like AFC Championship or a Super Bowl or something like that. Lions fans, differently. Bengals fans, I assume for a long time, like, hey, we just want to kind of dance and win 4 games. Then he get to a fucking Super Bowl last year. I'd love to see the Bengals fans are like, we're just hoping to win some games now.
Yeah.
We got to win a Super Bowl. Like, there's
it's 15 straight Super Bowls now that Joe Burrow's in town.
It's like you set your own expectation for your fan base, and I think the Seahawks fan base expectations are fucking.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sky high.
And that's why I keep saying, like, it seems like Seahawks fans are going to have to, like, almost like what we were saying to you for the last couple of years. Like, hey, Patriots fans, you're about to learn what it's like.
Clemson fans. Is it like Clemson fans? Like, they were the talk of the town for the last 5, 6, 7 years, and then what was the record last year? How many games?
9-3 or something.
Is DJ Uiagalelei still the quarterback?
Yeah, it's him, and then there's a freshman 5-star who's apparently pushing him.
Well, DJ Uiagalelei was also a freshman 5-star.
Yeah, he did not play great last year.
Well,
that was weird. He looks really good at times.
He's
huge. COVID, dude. COVID.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't judge anything. You know, last night there was a guy on the team, big return. I think he was a return, maybe.
For the Bears.
50-yard return for the Bears.
6 years. He was in college.
Oh, Velus Jones Jr.
Velus Jones Jr. 6 years in college, took the COVID year, got better, and then comes in the NFL, going to make the team.
He's 25 right now.
He's like the special teams player of the year in the SEC, co-player of the year or something.
He's like an Australian that comes over after their AFL career, and they're like freshmen in college at the age of 26. Like, mate, I haven't gone to school, university. Well, you're a fucking full-grown adult, though. You're competing against a 17-year-old kid right now.
What do you want me to tell you?
Or the guy that comes in, he's 28 because he played 8 years of minor league baseball.
J.R. House? Yeah, we had that. We had J.R. House. He was, I don't know, 25, 26. He was awesome. So nice to everybody. Rich. You know, had
Drew Henson was an old quarterback that did that, too.
Yeah. He was awesome. And then he was gone after 1 year.
Brandon Weed.
Yeah, Brandon Weed.
Brandon Weed, yeah, he graduated 29 or something.
Yeah.
Russ Wilson, now Russ didn't go play.
No.
But he was drafted first round.
He could have.
Hey, you know what he was doing? Riding. That's all Russ does,
He hit
dude.
456 in AA.
Russ?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
What?
No, he didn't. If Russ would have hit 456 in AA, he'd be He would be starting at shortstop for the Yankees right now.
What is, now that we know a little bit more about Russ, and sorry, Seahawks fans, it's going to continue here.
Yeah.
Because this guy's not your quarterback. Now he's popular, he's liked, and he seems to be showing more of himself than he ever has. Your team appears to stink. His team appears to be very good.
Right.
Oh, Seahawks fans, this is what happened with Indianapolis when Peyton left, by the way. There's going to be a lot of Broncos jerseys. There's going to be that split Broncos-Seahawks jersey that opening night.
Yep.
A lot of those. Look for a lot of threes split in half in orange and blue, and then whatever the Seahawks jersey they decide to do it with. That's going to happen, I think, because it happened here in Indy. We had Andrew Luck, though. And Andrew Luck was a little bit different.
Yeah.
He was a little bit of a gamer, and that guy would actually put the entire team on his back, and he would run into like those knights that had the big
Jousters.
And he would just run, and they would just be stabbing him in his lungs and his appendix and everything, his spleen and his heart, and then also right in the head. Yeah. And he would thank the knight and say, "Oh, I can't. I'm gonna go right back here. You go that way. I appreciate it." Put the whole team on his back again. Then he would run. By the way, like it didn't even happen.
No.
Full speed right back into it. Boom, demolished. Hey, that was an awesome hit. I'll see you again. He's going right back to the fucking front of the line. He's back. And we went to a fucking AFC Championship.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning goes and has his best season ever, throws more touchdowns than ever, gets to another Super Bowl. And we had the number 32 ranked team going into the season. What does that mean? Who's ranking? Fuck them. But we were dead last. Go to the AFC Championship game, or AFC playoffs that year.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And I don't know if Seattle has that. Now, to Russell Wilson. What if the Broncos are fucking unbelievable this year?
Could be.
Are we thinking there's a chance of that? Orlovsky likes them in the AFC West. Orlovsky now. Hey, did you get to listen to Dano last night on his birthday?
I did. I saw a little bit of you guys saying he was, there may be some negative comments out there. That's normal. I thought Dano was Dano. I think he did great.
He was there. Yeah,
More than some.
I mean, the internet.
Is it like, are some people seeing him do games for the first time? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, and also I think people are seeing him outside of his his little clown box they put him in.
Pundit chair.
You know what I mean? Hey, Dan, every idea you have is the right one, and we're going to make you as loud as possible.
Hitch that wagon.
Hey, hop into every batter's box, Dan. That's what they tell him every single morning. Hey, whatever. What do you think about this player? Oh, we need you to hop in there. We need you to go all the fucking way in on this.
Yeah, you're not taking any pitches.
Yeah, he sees everything coming. Curveball, it don't matter. Guy has a good game out of nowhere. That thing's breaking off the table. Dan's doing a full fucking
swing.
Yeah. Full hack at that thing. Full. And that ball's traveling a long way. Probably foul.
Yeah.
Probably foul, but it's traveling.
up.
He's swinging hard at every single take on ESPN. And that's kind of what he's been hired to do, though.
Right.
Like, that's what those shows are. So I think a lot of people seeing him outside of the jousting with Stephen A. or yelling at Greeny or any of the other hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of television he's on every single day, and then he put in the booth, there's going to be a natural reaction to him already. But I think as a commentator in the booth, compared to people that have done the job in the past, not that specific booth, but just booths in general, I didn't think Dan was that terrible last night. I thought he was good. He was much better than he was for the college football things, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And that might be just because I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to college football, so I'm watching those games. It's like, all right, I don't care. But, well, we do this year.
We do.
We do this year because we're part of the college football landscape now. I thought he did better, than a lot of people have in there. And it was his first night. And he's only going to do 3 more games this year? I didn't understand the hate until I'm like, oh, that's because they already hate him from everything else he does. It's well, that's fair, by the way. You do what you got to do.
That's expected. Yeah. I mean, I think Dan's very informative. We know that he absolutely studies the game. So, I just think if someone's talking about the commentators, I don't know, good or bad, I think it's fine. I think it's a good thing. We don't want to be completely indifferent towards them.
Yeah, you're right. They were for a long time. And then
that's the worst when you're like, who was in that booth and you don't even know. Like, that's, I think, worse.
So I think some fans prefer that. Right?
Well, yeah, they're not part of the game. Joe Buck talks about that a lot. He's like, well, if I have a heart attack and die on the way there, they're still playing the game.
Yeah, and Joe Buck then got paid $15 million.
Right. Shit ton.
Because whenever these guys get paid what they're getting paid to be in the booth, there's a reaction from a sector of people that are like, who cares about the comment? I'm not coming to watch the commentator. And it's like, well, people do care. That's why there's $15, $20 million offers happening to people to commentate games. So I think there is a sector that just wish robots were calling the game almost. Just tell me what down it is, what they're doing, and then get to the next play. I enjoy somebody setting the tone for the game for me. Like, I enjoy, hey, we're watching this game together, as opposed to either this is your time to shine in story time and do that. Like, there is, you know what I mean? Like, I like the setting of the tone almost.
I like to hear when they're having fun. I like to hear or see, hey, this person loves it. This person loves football. You can tell, they're a football nerd here, and they're really getting into it. That's what I think comes across the TV.
You're allowed to have fun, too, Why is everybody so mad?
Doesn't make sense.
Good question. Just how it is, bro. Everyone has been on a team.
Yeah, but so you think they feel like they're...
Then other people jump on. And it's just how it is.
Have to take it seriously.
Yeah, but why does everybody act like covering sports is literally covering a fucking cancer researcher? It's not that serious, dude. It's fucking football.
It hasn't always been done like that either.
You know what I think happened is, because we watched that Madden doc and they're like, he changed the way football was covered. I'm like, did he? Or did he just...
People like those old school guys, their old school voices. That's what they remember, especially the older crowd when they go after broadcasters.
But then normally it just becomes suit, 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 suit.
Yeah.
Suit, suit, sooty, suit.
Well, a lot
and
of
then
money.
who's talking to the suits, by the way? Bigger suits, sooty suits. And then all of a sudden it's super journalism happening, which, by the way, respect and appreciate, but I think it should be a little bit more like a buffet. Hey, I'm going to grab some chicken tenders. I'll also get a salad. Maybe there's a pie. I'm allowed to have somebody that's taking it super serious outside the lines. That's what they used to be, right?
Yeah.
Outside the lines used to be super serious. Now everybody's outside the lines. Everybody is trying to win a Nobel Peace Prize covering sports. And then when I say everybody, I'm talking about obviously a majority of what sports talk became. And by the way, that's probably the only reason why this show has any form of success, because we're just sports idiots and not trying to cure cancer. Might be wrong too. That is something that we are wrong about this, wrong about that. These suits covering sports, it felt for the last 20 years, never wrong. Always curing cancer, curing COVID, and this is exactly what sports should be. And it's just loosen the fuck up.
To your point, and it needs to be covered, but there was a show that did 2 hours, the entire show on Deshaun Watson this morning.
Okay, so
2 hours.
Good transition, actually, because I just said there's people that cover sports that have never been wrong. I'm not sure Deshaun Watson knows he's ever been wrong before. I think he's a sociopath, right?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
I've been Googling sociopath a little bit to try to learn a little bit more because it gets thrown out about people we don't like a lot. You know, successful people normally gets thrown out like, oh, this sociopath, just because they've had to make a decision in the past to maybe hurt somebody's feelings, so they don't care, whatever, they say it a lot. Actually looking it up, just having no regard for potentially ever being wrong is basically like, you know, kind of the form of it. How Deshaun Watson has been the greatest football player of all time everywhere he's ever been, right? He leaves Clemson, and Dabo says, this is the Michael Jordan of fucking football. He goes to Houston, becomes a top 5 player, top 3 player, they're on anything, and then all these allegations and super serious things happen, and he gets the biggest contract in the history of the league. That's how good of a player he is. That's how much his services are wanted. He gets the largest contract after all this. He has to have some sort of God complex, right? I mean, and then you listen to him talk, and it's like, I'm still standing on my innocence. Now, it is being alleged by Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio, who is a lawyer and looks into everything, that the NFL released the statement that an agreement has been reached before Deshaun even signed the agreement to almost publicly make it a pressured situation, potentially. It is just like, this is all potential things that have happened. Because what if Deshaun thought maybe after this appeal, no more games are going to be added? I don't think Deshaun thinks anything happened, like at all. I don't even know if he has a clue what's going on. Joining us now, maybe a man that has more information than we do. He probably does because he's been back to work for a week and a half. Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for the network and the league itself, host of the weekly wrap-up of the Rap Sheet and Friends, us being friends, he being Rap Sheet, Ian Rappaport. Ian, hey, we appreciate you joining us. I know you traveled somewhere. You're going home now. Thank you for taking time out of your day to work with us right now.
No problem. I'm actually going to my wife's family's home in Mississippi. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah, I just seen an 18-wheeler going 70 by you, though. This is like a Herb Street situation.
It is. Can't do it. Are you on the side of the highway?
Are you going to get...
No, I'm not going to. No one's going to hit me. It'll be okay.
Jesus Christ. Get him off.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't be saying shit like that. Why'd you just do what you just did right
We just
there?
saved your lives, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right.
Appreciate it. Did you knock on...
Yeah.
There's no wood. It's not like no wood paneling or anything in this rental. But all right, you guys got me. We're good.
This shitty-ass rental ain't got wood inside of it.
Like my cars.
Ian Rappaport joining us live from the side of a highway. Any breath could be his last. So let's make sure we enjoy all of them. Deshaun Watson situation. Okay? Watson situation.
Mm-hmm.
He just has no idea. He's a sociopath. Do you think that's the case right now? He has no clue? Because if you start piecing some things together with what the statement was that was released, written down, and then what the statement was of him talking, it's like, oh, clearly somebody put out a statement of what he probably should have said. And then him talking, he just... this is a weird situation. I think we're learning a lot about Deshaun through it all. And the remorse seemed to be something that Judge Stu Robinson thought wasn't there as well from it all. What do you think about that, Ian? And how should we view it going forward?
All right, so obviously I watched his interview, his press conference yesterday. I've read his statements. I've seen a lot of them. I saw his interview pregame before the ruling came out with Aditi Kinkhabwala, where he talked about how sorry he was. I've kind of pieced all of it together. And I feel like the explanation for his mindset, for what he feels, and this is literally just reading the words of his agent, David Mulugeta, who came on Twitter yesterday, basically saying, and this is paraphrasing, but I'm sure you guys could get the tweet. Basically, he was saying that Deshaun Watson believes he did not commit sexual assault, but there were other things that he did, the situation he put himself in, the various lives that he affected negatively by his behavior. That's essentially what he's sorry for. He maintains his innocence as it pertains to sexual assault, because he does not believe that he committed that. But as far as the situation he put himself in, that's what he apologizes for. That's just me reading his words, watching the interviews, reading the words of his agent, David Mulugeta. That's me trying to understand the different sort of views and the needle that he's threading.
Got it.
Is it possible he's just trying to, like his lawyers are telling him to be careful? Because could they open up another civil lawsuit if he does admit to something?
Another civil lawsuit, there would have to be someone alleging him of something. Now, there is still one outstanding case. They've settled all of them except for one. could there be another person who accused him? Something certainly that is possible. And the NFL has reserved the right, as they do in all these disciplinary situations, if more information comes, they could open it back up. Remember with Josh Brown, they did that several years back, the Giants kicker. So if more information comes, the NFL could open it up. And I'm sure that Deshaun Watson's legal team has advised him of certain things to say and certain things not to say, which is why, it's not why, but it's one reason the interviews are awkward. Because there's clearly, you can almost see his mind thinking and working, being like, all right, I can't say this, I can't say this. It seems very stilted, I would say.
I'd say there's very serious allegations, obviously, and Deshaun said for the people he triggered, I think it was almost everybody because of the things that were being said and alleged in abundance. I mean, there was a lot of this happening, and the NFL is the biggest league on earth. Here's the tweet from David Mulligata that you were referring to. I do believe we have. Deshaun has always stated he is innocent of sexual assault. Nothing has changed in what he said. He also said he is remorseful. The decisions he made have created this situation. The settlement allows him to move forward with his life and career. That's from David Mulligata, who should be hired by the United States government to be negotiating all of our deals with everybody about everything.
Right now.
It's very good.
Unbelievable.
And he represents his clients. He does his job as an agent.
Now, I will say, as a friend of yours, I think we can say that I don't think I'm doing my job allowing you to sit right where you're sitting. And there was an 18-wheeler that came.
I'm going to be fine. It's it's like when you look in the rear view, its objects are closer than they appear. No, I'm going to turn this way so you can't see the cars that
But
are
we'll
flying
see
by.
your car shake, dude. We'll see. We will
No. That's just an optical illusion.
Don't you think you should at least sit in the passenger seat over there? Just
Right, good idea.
On the other side, maybe? Get out
But
like
then
you're
I'd have
taking
to get
a
up
leak.
and get around. I'm not walking on this highway. Plus, there's not a lot of cars going by. Well, there's a couple now. We'll be fine.
Do not open the door. But I don't want to say that we've seen some photos of you. I think you could just kind of.
Oh, yeah, but there's 18 boxes of Pez on the passenger
What do you
seat.
mean?
By the way, the hotel I stayed at, I was in Buffalo last night. Had the best wings I've ever had in my life. They had at the hotel little store they had a big thing of Gobstoppers. I almost bought those.
So you're
that's my wheelhouse.
So you're still on your training camp tour right now? You're at Buffalo. They're the odds-on favorites. Good.
Yeah, no, I was at somewhere, and then I was at Buffalo. I can't remember where.
This guy.
And now I'm in Mississippi for a couple of days, and I'm going to Detroit Monday. Then I'm done.
Okay, so let's hit some topical things then about NFL right now. Baker Mayfield.
Wait, hold on. I want to go back to you mentioned the sort of the NFL posting and the delay, right? You talked about that coming in?
Yes. Florio reported this on Pro Football Talk this morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my understanding is Deshaun Watson made the decision to accept the settlement. He and his legal team made the decision like 4 or so hours before it was actually released. There was I would say a small snafu as it pertains to like completing this, signing it, making sure everything was all buttoned up. Had nothing to do with anybody wavering. It just was about completing it. So it was released accidentally because it just was. Like, I honestly have no idea, and I'm sure the NFL is working on that, but it was not.
He's dead. He's alive. Jeez.
Okay.
Thank God.
Well, you're like Jesus Christ coming out of the cave there whenever he came on the other side. We thought you were dead and you came back alive. We appreciate that intel. So you say they agreed to terms before the thing was signed, basically?
Like 4 or 5 hours before.
All right. We appreciate you. Safe travels. We would ask you more NFL information, but honestly, it's been a cardiac conversation with you because I think you've died 4 times.
Are you nervous? Don't be nervous.
Yeah.
And we like you, like as a human. Not a lot of people. I guess there's some people that turned against liking you because of things that happened off air that got on air and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I would like to let you know we like
Seahawks
you.
fans you mentioned.
We like you.
Thanks.
We do like you.
We like you a lot.
Big fan.
And I mean, within the next 5 to 10 seconds, we think you're going to die.
I would say this. I feel very comfortable with my life right now. And no, this. Look, if something bad happens, it will be like irony, and they'll replay this. But this will be like a cold take situation.
freezing cold takes. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rapport, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
No.
Yeah. Same thing with Kirk.
That Kirk Herbstreit thing, when he was there was a bend. Do you remember? He was sitting on like the edge of a bend downhill. So I saw that one 18-wheeler for the last mile before it got to him, and then that thing came like a freight train 2 feet away from his head. It's like, all right, Herbie, why don't we end this conversation?
You were going to ask him. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, having Ian, we would obviously miss him if something terrible would happen. But it goes without saying, like, this show would obviously be in dire straits with YouTube if that were to happen live on the air.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
would we get in trouble?
No, as long as you don't go to a forest where people are dead, you're fine.
Yeah, that clip of him getting hit would fucking go huge.
Jesus.
Just thinking about that,
You guys
because
are
that was a
sick.
thought I had.
I just want
while
to let
we were
everybody
doing
know, like, that's disgusting.
What's wrong with you
That
guys?
is.
There's
You
no
guys are
reason
gross.
to even think
You'd
about
probably say,
it.
holy
They would.
crap.
I mean, they would take it down so fast.
Yeah, I'm just saying it would go millions of views.
You were going to ask a question, though.
That is Baker.
Why is Sam not playing either?
Did you hear this, AJ? Baker nor Sam Darnold playing tonight in the Panthers-Patriots game. They had joint practices the last couple of days. P.J. Walker will take first and third quarter. Matt Corral will take second and fourth quarters. Mac Jones of the Patriots, he will be playing, though. What do you think? What's this all about? You think Matt Rule's smarter than Bill Belichick?
I have no clue. What is
a question?
I mean, obviously, I don't think that right now. I wasn't listening to that final question you threw in there. It's pretty good though. But why? Yeah, why? I don't get it. I mean, Baker's the starter, right? So
no,
he just doesn't want to put Sam in.
That has not been officially announced.
I know it's not official, but I'm like, does he not want to get Sam hurt in case they can try to trade him? Does he not want to put? Does he say, "Hey, Sam, I'm going to take care of you here too. I don't want to. If Baker's not dressing, I'm not going to make you dress and play." Like, how's that work?
I don't know. And why isn't Baker playing? If he's your starter, why isn't he fucking playing?
Yeah, and
don't risk it. Maybe
it could make sense with Darnold because Darnold didn't have a great week, and if they are trying to trade him and he goes out there and maybe he doesn't play that well, then there's a chance like, okay, now there's no chance we can get rid of this.
So the conversation we're having, you don't think NFL GMs are going to have too? Like, well, why are they potentially just trying to?
They
protect
will,
Sam
but at least they
Darnold?
don't know. If they're like, he didn't play in the game, they're like, we don't have. I don't know. Maybe they say, well, it's a little bit of a mystery. Let's bring him in. I think he's still all right.
No, yeah, that's what they'll say before giving a call to Bill or anybody in New England. Like, hey, how'd Darnold look against you guys? Fucking terrible. We thought
I guess if Sam gets in and gets hurt, then there's absolutely zero trade possibility.
What if Bill Belichick tells whoever calls to ask about how Sam Darnold was in joint practices, goes, everybody thought Gase was the problem. Fucking Gase got fucked, dude. Sam Darnold.
He does love Gase.
Yeah, he does. Almost brought him in.
What if he was just like, yeah, Sam Darnold stinks. This guy is terrible. He's the one that got him seeing ghosts, right, at one point?
That was his rookie year.
What if Bill Belichick firmly believes Sam Darnold is a terrible football player and Adam Gase got bamboozled in this entire
I
thing?
believe it. I bet you could probably see Gase on the staff next year. And Darnold, do they have to pay the entire 18-6 week one? And that starts similar to Jimmy G?
He won't be there.
I think because they already gave him his fifth year, I think it's already guaranteed.
It's already, okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think so. The past your fifth year in the NFL, if you're on the roster first week, an entire year's salary is due.
Okay.
So that's for veteran men. That's for whatever big contract it is. That is how that whole thing plays out.
Yeah, just like Baker.
Bingo.
There's no way that Sam Darnold is getting traded. Like, you see what's happening. They can't fucking trade Jimmy G. The guys went to a Super Bowl.
Well,
and NFC
no
Sam
chance,
Darnold's
yeah.
won 6 games in the NFL in like 5 years. Who the fuck's trading for him?
Well,
Why isn't he playing tonight?
Yes. Why is he not playing? Hey, Rule, let us see Sam Darnold throw 9 picks tonight.
Please.
That'll help you out, right? That helps Matt Rule out with his fans saying this is why we're starting
True.
Baker Mayfield. This is why we're doing this. I don't understand the motive here. Because wouldn't you want Baker to get more reps in, like...
Have they asked a follow-up to Rule? Like, I guess after the game they will, but have they yet?
By the way, I like P.J. Walker a lot. Maybe they're trying to move P.J.
Corral, you probably want to see more of him.
Could still do all these things.
Because he might be the guy next
Sam
year.
needs to go. Now, no offense to these two guys who you're going to watch play tomorrow. Not that they're not terrible already, but if anything happens to Jared Goff, I mean,
They're so fucked.
The Lions?
Tim Boyle and David Blau.
David Blau, we learned a lot about in the last Hard Knocks episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I want to let everybody know, boots on the ground with the NFL Film Squad. I did let them know episode 2 was awesome. Who gives a fuck about David Blau?
Need more MTDs.
I did say that.
It's about his girlfriend or fiance or whoever.
His wife.
His wife.
She's not on the line.
Now, listen, she's racing for Columbia. I got massive respect for them being an incredibly athletic family, professional, and everything like that. Who cares about David Blau? Who cares? No offense, David Blau. Who fucking cares?
That's what Hard Knocks does, though. They highlight people that people usually don't get a bunch of shine.
Yeah, like at the tight end position, like, hey, this 4th, 5th tight end is about to make a team changes. David Blau? Why are we wasting time?
DFP.
When we got Deuce Staley there, mic'd up every day. We got Kelvin Shepard, hilarious human, a great coach too. He's my MCDC is there every day. What are we doing with David Blau? Now, maybe that's why they're doing David Blau, because they forecast a potential Jared Goff situation. David Blau is leading that team to victory with MCDC, riding an actual lion onto the field before the game.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. No, disrespect, but the only time you showcase guys like David Blau and those other guys is when your coaches have the personality of my left nut, and these guys don't. They're explosive and they're unbelievable. So let's fucking see these guys, okay? Is David Blau even going to make the team? Are the Lions going to carry 3 quarterbacks this year?
Well, let's talk about the personality of your left nut. I mean, real high football IQ down there?
No, I'm saying if the head coach on Hard Knocks is fucking boring as shit again, like when they did the Falcons and Mike Smith was on there. He was great, but like he's not giving them any sound clips. So they're showing a bunch of the players. Like that makes sense. You have hours and hours and hours and hours of footage of Dan Campbell saying awesome shit, and you're just cutting 98% of it.
Do you think it's because they do hold...
It was pre-production. They already filmed that before camp started, no question. Her running on the track, so they got to use it, right?
That could be true.
And they had that clip of him celebrating her at the Olympics. That was on the NFL's Instagram. That went big.
We don't need filler, though.
I have respect for the NFL Films' creative process.
Absolutely.
I have massive respect for it. They are great at they're Scorsese of the NFL, like everything they do. But don't feel obligated to be showcasing any of these fucking stories if you got if you got the big dumb meathead MCDC up there. Not that he's dumb, but that is how he is being casted.
Well, find out who they filmed with, who they have this footage in the can that they're going to put in the next episodes. It's like American Idol. You know, back in the day, if you're watching the show, if they start showing a backstory on somebody, like, well, obviously they got through because they're filming their family and stuff before.
No, they do that now. Like America's Got Talent has a backstory on everybody.
Yeah. Okay, back in the day, it was like that then.
Does the Masked Singer do that too, or?
All right, let's get into it. By the way, we didn't get MCDC on the show yesterday or 2 days ago at training camp, and that was a bummer. They stopped practice 15 minutes early.
Mm-hmm. What the hell is that? Ride practice is too goddamn fast.
It was too efficient. Nice. They stopped practice early, so MCDC's post-practice everything was 15 minutes early. Jim Irsay was right in the middle of a speech. Wow. MCDC would have been able to come on. Instead, there's actually a clip of him
in the shot
choosing to leave instead of wait around because he said, I'm not waiting here 15 minutes. We got to hold. He had to press team meet, like the amount of shit that he had to do. So we are very bummed that we missed out on MCDC. And we would like to say, like Hard Knocks also, if you would have they did have Jim. Let's feed us Jim Irsay, Jerry Jones, MCDC.
Right.
These people we don't see a lot of. Let's go. David Blau. No offense, David Blau. David Blau. Tom Brady not at practice still. And this has become a massive conversation amongst some parties and some circles, including Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown has commented about the Tom Brady situation. Now, he did tell TMZ just about a week ago on a strip somewhere that he's still open. He misses Tom Brady, loves Tom Brady. Then he put a tweet out basically saying Tom Brady finesses the system, misses 14 days to get his mind right. LOL. Here we go. Tom Brady manipulate the game, gets 14 days, go home, get his mind right. LOL. Now you see the difference. Put that shit on. Put that shit on.
I mean, it's growing on me.
Absolutely. It's growing on everybody. By the way, you're about to see it. A lot of it.
I already have. I already seen it a few times.
The kids, too? Kids in your Ohio?
Not as much kids. I've been trying to teach my kids that, but they haven't seen much of AB's rap album.
Well, tell your kids Hendrix to put that shit on, and maybe they'll be able to learn that and kind of get through it all. But Antonio Brown talking about the situation, right, with Tom Brady. And I don't think it's yet been described what Tom Brady's doing, so now it's conspiracy fodder everywhere. Rappaport came on the show, and while we were talking to him live, this was something that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had known about going in. Who knows how many people in the building knew about it, but at least Todd Bowles knew about it and probably other people in powerful positions. They said he'd be back in like 9 days. Now it's like we don't know when he'll be back. We think he'll be back for the first regular season game, pretty sure of that. So what is something that has a beginning date that was planned but doesn't have an end date? We thought when he retired for those few days, he and Giselle and his family maybe scheduled something, a party, an event that they have missed for the last 50 years while he was playing in the NFL. And then once he decided to go back, Giselle and the family were like, Dad, what the fuck? Like another one. And he was like, well, I will make it a demand that if I do come back, I have to be able to go do this thing with my family in the middle of training camp. And the people that were in power said, hey, all good. You got to do what you got to do. We understand completely. We're in the football life as well. But now that there's no end date, that is interesting. And the internet, both on Reddit and Fantasy Life podcast, a lady, I believe, I do not remember her name, so I apologize. He's on a Masked Singer, they're saying. This dude, he signed that deal with Fox to be a game ambassador and a commentator, and he's getting $375 million over 10 years whenever he retires. Greg Olsen, Kevin Burkhardt currently manning that spot. Tom Brady will be dropped in there when he retires. And the reason why there's no end date and they don't know when he'll be back, because who knows when Tom Brady's going to get voted off. He's going to have a goat head on him, obviously. He's going to do his whole thing. We'll see that. There's no way that Fox says, hey, remember, you told us you'd be on Masked Singer. You got missed training camp, with Fox hiring him to be an NFL ambassador, right? So I don't know if it's Masked Singer, but this is gaining steam on the internet, and it makes sense that there's no end date. With that being said, Fox has literally survived off the NFL. So I would love to hear the conversation between Fox and Tom Brady going, we're paying you $375 million at some point, right? You need to do the Masked Singer in the middle of fucking training camp.
Come on.
That's what would have had to happen, right? For that to take place. That seems like not possible, but maybe. AJ, where the fuck is this guy, you think?
Aren't like all the internet sleuths out there trying to track his plane or what he may be doing? I would imagine they're on him somewhere, right?
Go ahead, Connor.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Like when he was on vacation with his family in Italy on a yacht, there were still photos of him on that yacht that the press got in Italy. So if he was on vacation with Giselle with the family, you'd assume there'd be like a shit ton of press either spotting him or knowing that this is where he is, and that would have came out. Like
weird things leading up to it too, though. When they lay out the timeline, like he scheduled off day, then they practiced, then he missed one and was back and then gone. Like there was a weird. I read something where they laid out like the 5 days before he left too.
What has a beginning date but not an end date?
Court.
I don't know how many people knew.
That's just something. I'm just not that he's there. I'm just saying that is something.
No, but what would it be? Honestly.
Are people worried it's some kind of injury thing or some kind of treatment he's getting?
Illness.
Maybe it's a surgery that's taking place.
Why wouldn't you have to disclose it on the injury report eventually?
So Peyton, for instance, Peyton's neck shit, we did not know until
when he over in Germany or whatever getting Regenikine or all that.
Yeah, you got to remember, there was a time, not a baby Mitt, just cutting right to the talks table to get a good reaction mid sentence there. I love you, Mitt. This fucking guy, this guy's awesome. But remember, I think I've told this story publicly. Mitt, you're doing a great job. I've told this story publicly. That I was, summoned to the training room almost in training camp. And I get in there and fucking Peyton's got all these wires coming out of him. And they're working on him. I'm like, well, I apparently did not train hard enough for the amount of times we're going to punt this season, it appears. And it kind of got dropped out of nowhere. Then we ended up signing Kerry Collins in the middle of training camp. I believe he was actually hunting at the time they called him to bring him out of the farm to come play again, and Curtis Painter and Orlovsky. So this is potentially, maybe it's an injury, maybe it's a surgery that they just didn't want to let everybody know. But then why is he coming back from retirement?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
None of it makes sense to me. Honestly,
none of speculation, though. When we don't have any information, it's such a unique thing, and feels like not a whole lot of people were in the know. That's when everyone just wild speculation, just like alien stuff, same kind of thing. You see the moon, you say this has got to be a UFO.
I am not tying Tom Brady's situation in the middle of training camp with aliens.
Yeah, could see him going back to a planet to save his civilization, though, if that might be the case. That does have a start date, not an end date.
All right, so I appreciate the fact that we have got to this point with this. But yeah, to add on to what you were saying, all these conversations happen because this has never really happened before.
No.
There is no real intel or insight. And the way Todd Bowles is talking about, like, we're hopeful he'll be back by week 1. It's like,
that's the weird thing.
Nobody knows anything.
What?
And it's Tom fucking Brady. Like, it's not just some guy. It's the face
How
of
does
the
he
league for the last
disappear?
20 years.
How does he? That's what I'm saying. I land in the middle of bumfuck nowhere at 2:30 a.m. There will be 6 people. I won't call them
Marks.
No.
Oh.
Worse
Sacks
than
of
that.
shit.
Yes. Out there with garbage bags waiting on me, right? And obviously, me and Tom Brady, much different levels of society and life, but everything is tracked these days. Literally everything. So are they just locking themselves in a house and going through some stuff and turning all their phones off? And like, hey, we're going to have Amish month. Is that what they're doing?
What about like Survive Alaska, where you win the award for how long you can survive in the wilderness by yourself?
Yeah, but he would have had to take a flight at some time to Alaska, and somebody would have been like, oh, there's fucking Tom's plane going right to Alaska. Like,
there'd be pictures of him getting on the plane or something.
Yeah, that's why it's not a family
Black
vacation.
Ops situation.
Because there would have been photos already of them on vacation.
Maybe he's
if he
downrange.
was on vacation.
maybe he is downrange.
Giselle is from a very small village in Brazil, so maybe it is something with her side of the family, and they're down there, and it's definitely not, the most developed region of Brazil.
Oh.
Yeah, but if he was to
Giselle
land
fan
in
page.
Brazil from where Giselle lives, like I think somebody would have.
Yeah, when he was in Italy, they weren't at a resort or anything. They were on their own yacht, and there were still photos.
People
of
track-
them.
Did he come back?
Yeah.
What's that?
When do you think he comes back then?
Well, that's the thing. We were told the 20th, right? The
Yeah.
11th to the 20th. It was 9 days. That would be tomorrow.
Yeah, Monday.
But now the speculation is like, well, we don't know when he's going to be back. It's like, okay, so if it was pre-planned and you don't know when he's coming back, maybe they're on some fucking trip. Maybe they're on some ayahuasca trip or some
Maybe a cruise. Like a Disney cruise with the kids.
But again,
That has an end date.
Yeah. And they would know.
Maybe they want to go to a couple of them.
If it was Mass Singer, there would definitely be photos of him in
Those
LA.
Disney cruises
too.
aren't cheap either.
Yeah, him traveling I understand Disney cruises.
we haven't bit the bullet yet. They're too expensive right now, I feel like.
Okay, well, I appreciate you getting it out there. The Disney cruises seem to be a little bit
I
of
hear
a-
they're very, very nice and they're set up very well for parents and the kids.
But it sounds like a little bit of a scam. You're saying haven't bit the bullet for how expensive it is. You guys go on 10 vacations every month, so Disney Cruises maybe should listen to that. A family that does spend money,
Yeah.
a lot of it is looking at your cruise going, I heard it's great, but come on.
Little pricey.
So maybe Tom Brady isn't looking at it the same way you are with his kids, but if he was to buy a Disney cruise ticket, before he could even get whatever fake name he has in there, they'd be like, oh, this is for Tom Brady and Giselle coming on Disney Cruise. It would just, that's what I think is so interesting. Like, they are Tom and Giselle, so somebody's going to find them.
Also, the stuff with Bowles, like, he knows about what it is, but then he's saying he's hopeful he'll be back for week 1. So, like, he knows what it is, but he has no idea how much time he's actually going to miss. Like, that doesn't really make sense either.
What has a beginning date but not an end date?
I like that Connor's
downrange.
angle where he might be at a Vuvuzela in Brazil, like just hanging out.
A Vuvuzela is the
Could be at a favela.
Also,
That's what I meant.
Vuvuzela is Vuvuzela as
You can see
Vuvuzela.
you can see the confusion though.
yeah, you really hope it isn't the case, but it would make sense
Injury.
to it. Well, if his mom is sick again or
But
a
they said
family
it
member
wasn't.
is sick.
But they said it was planned.
They shouldn't lie to us if that's the case.
What if
Maybe
something
it's a
happened?
planned surgery.
surgeries also.
Something could have happened to keep him longer, too.
Treatment for something is also planned.
So medical is definitely coming into play here, right?
Yes, but I don't think it's his medical because he wouldn't have come back if he had a surgery he had to get done.
We hope it's not his mom. We hope, obviously,
Of
it's
course.
nothing bad, but this is an interesting situation. Then.
All seriousness aside, it could be going back to
All seriousness aside?
yeah.
Okay, so we're going back to the aliens.
Yeah, sure.
Here we go.
Yeah, AJ brought it up, but like this could be the time of year or the time, like it could be an every 20-year thing where he does have to shed his skin and grow new skin, so he couldn't be at camp for that.
To Tony's point, too, there are a lot of theories on the internet that Giselle can tell through the stars what type of season Tom is going to have, a la his MVP seasons and his Super Bowl seasons, and maybe this is kind of part of that as well.
So they took a trip,
Yeah. Well,
go trip.
he doesn't have to. Just she does. She's very good at reading the stars and the signs.
So he's watching the house like I had to do.
Exactly.
When Sam went on Girls Trip. He's watching the house.
He's got to watch kids.
She's on
Wow, Giselle is going to.
the summit of Mount Everest to
With Adele?
look as close
Think
as
he's doing
possible.
ayahuasca?
No, I don't think
Could
he's
be a
doing
whole
that.
different kind of trip. You know what I mean?
What dimension is he in?
Sixth,
What's that?
seventh dimension.
Like a swingers trip?
No.
Smooching bunghole.
Bunghole trip.
All right, let's get to a
What?
break. I don't know what the problem is here. We can't talk about anything. How about him? All seriousness aside,
Yeah.
no shit coming from you.
It's the first time I've ever heard someone say that.
It confused
Normally
me.
It's all jokes aside.
Yeah, exactly. It confused me.
Hey, that's next level.
Yes,
That'll
it
make it
is.
sound.
Good make it
Hey,
Playing chess.
all seriousness aside, 10 things.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Well, I just wanted to say that because if it does come back that it is something serious, I wanted to make sure that was on there.
Oh, yeah, because your conscience.
Just joshing around.
But seriously, what does have a beginning date, not an end date? That is what we should be trying to figure out. Maybe it's treatment of some sort. Maybe it is medical. Maybe it is who knows.
Well, and something that everyone on the team's okay with too. That like
Not
hasn't-
everybody. I don't think everybody
What do you mean?
knows.
They have to be.
Well, yeah, they're forced to be because it's fucking Tom Brady.
True.
Hey, you want me to retire or not? No, please come back. Well, I'm going to miss because of hour 3 is on a 10-minute break. See it? Yeah, nailed it.
10-minute break too. Let's go.
Bro.
When will we get some clarity on this? you
Ever?
think?
Never.
When he comes back, he still won't.
No.
We still
And
won't.
we
get any
won't
clarity.
then.
Well, Jim
yeah.
Gray won't ask.
No.
Oh, he
Tom,
will.
what'd you have for lunch when you were gone? Was it Morton's Steakhouse? Because they have 15% off.
There is a
turkey?
chance. There is a chance there's another episode of Man in the Arena at the end of this season, and then there'll probably be a reveal on what it was.
But what?
He'll probably make. You know what? He'll put a video when he comes back. He's going to put one of those videos out, like when he threw the ball in the jugs machine and it came right back. Something like that. Maybe a hole in one.
And he hit the moon.
Yeah.
We don't announce
Year
what he did.
23.
Maybe he's doing a show with like a company or a partner that has like first right of refusal all the time.
Yeah, 80 for Brady you're talking about?
Oh no, that's a sweet movie that's coming out.
Yeah, I already finished filming that.
Sure.
Maybe
Remember
that-
when AJ took you to that sex house in LA?
All right. I do. I do remember.
Actually, I was taken to that house. I did not go on my own. I actually did not volunteer. I was dragged.
Hid in the pantry.
That was one of the greatest moments. AJ, one of the greatest moments of all time.
Unfortunately, it was just me and you that had that great moment.
Yes. I feel like we live vicariously through you with the story.
Oh yeah.
We got a
What a
chance to
sex house, by the way.
Yeah, it
We got a
was.
chance to go
Feels
to-
like it was.
Yeah.
We got a chance to go to numerous meetings when we were out in LA. AJ and I were invited. And we went to a couple different spots, a couple different stops. And there was, we got to go see one particular house. It was amazing. And we thought, there's no way this particular house gets upped ever again. This is the nicest house we've ever been to. Then we went to another meeting, and we walked into the house. Same similar type setup, and lo and behold, holy fuck, this house is outdone the last house.
Yeah.
There was vaults and shit. I mean, it was a full scene, and
It was a sex house.
I just saw.
You can't act
I just
like-
saw the chat scrolling. What if he's got jury duty?
well, he can't
How come?
because he's a popular, famous person. Can't be in jury. I was called. I was summoned to jury. I was excited, pumped to do it. I'm like, all right, give me a fucking murder case. Give me 9 months in this thing. You know what I mean? Give me 9 months. I want to go out of bed. I want to actually do this, because I watch Bull and I watch Dateline and all these things, and juries are such big conversations. I want to do my civic duty, and then lo and behold, wasn't able to do it because it was a violent crime, I believe. Oh, okay. And I'm a popular person, so you can't be somebody that everybody knows, I guess, on a jury because you might sway other people and also might be attacked afterwards.
Ah, sure.
So I don't think Tom Brady would be able to do that.
No. I'd be getting work done.
Choose this the time.
Well, when he retired, the doctor, whatever doctor he goes to,
Yes.
Liability, you mean?
No,
for
no,
the face, yeah, for the face or for the body or anything.
Yeah.
Those appointments are tough to get.
Yeah.
They are. And when you do the Tom Brady through the years scroll from when he started in the NFL to this year, he does not look like the same person.
We don't need to dive into that. Okay, modern science, you do whatever you need.
Of course.
What if he comes back with a new persona, like a shaved head and a big beard?
What if he turns full heel? Yeah, full heel.
Yes.
Like
Hollywood Hogan.
special ops. Wears the glasses, the wraparound shades.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Wraparound shades
Under his helmet?
with a
Has like
beard.
a full sleeve of tattoos.
Yeah, what if he comes back special force and what'd you do? Can't talk about it.
Yeah,
all right, all right, we get it, dude. What
Ever
country?
watched Terminal List?
Yeah,
If he has a full sleeve of tattoos.
Well, Tony did say it. I mean, that is something that has a start date and no end date, as if you're going downrange.
Yeah.
maybe he is just getting a tattoo though. and they don't know.
Good.
You know, because there was like 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours, 20 hours.
Got to be out of the sun.
9 days, 10 days, 12 days.
Shoulder pads will rub on it and mess it up.
What if he comes back entire body fucking inked?
That'd be sweet.
What if his whole body is tattooed when he comes back? Sorry, boys, had to go through a little midlife crisis transformation.
That fits.
Fucking neck tattoo.
Yeah.
We didn't know how long the tat was going to take. We thought 9 days turned into 14. Had to do a little extra touch up and shading on the neck in the Adam's apple. That's why we had to do
That
it.
fits the new skin theory. So yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
It does.
New Tom.
Yeah.
All 7 titles tattooed on his forehead.
Can you imagine if he was downrange though?
Probably is.
Tone watched 8 episodes of Terminal List last night. He was in there for
Last
9 hours.
Yeah, last 2 days. Fucking ordered a new gun safe last night. It was fucking
Let's go.
sweet, dude.
I can't believe you still got the cowboy
I
hat.
have had headaches though for the past 2 days, so that's
All
a
right.
problem with watching Terminal List.
All right, we'll get to a break here. Happy birthday, Kirk Cousins.
Happy birthday, Kirk. Fucking like that.
Dude, he's swearing at camp. I wonder if that was directly at the GM.
Yeah.
You fucking like that?
Everyone heard it, but they can't. There was no specification on who the "you fucking like that" was to. Whether it was just out in the open, whether
best
it was to the
kind.
Niners.
Was it to Shanahan?
Yeah, it was to Shanahan.
Because Shanahan and Kirk worked together in Washington. So maybe it was a play they ran in Washington against the Niners defense.
Yeah.
And he goes to Kyle, you fucking like that was your fucking, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Stealing over the middle.
Yeah.
It was Dan Snyder because he wasn't allowed at the stadium, so he was trying to yell loud enough so he could hear it.
Makes sense.
McQuessy definitely still could have been Quessy.
Dan Snyder's at his yacht right now, man. That's going to be
Yeah.
tough to get a hold of him.
Well, especially
Is Tom on Dan Snyder's yacht?
Oh.
We'll look into it next hour. Hour 3 will be on the other side. We do not have Dana White today.
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess there was a little schedule conflict, a little timing conflict.
sucks.
I'm bummed about it. Usman's fighting tomorrow, dude.
I know. Paulo Costa, Luke Rockhold fighting as well.
Hey, those two, did you see their stare
Oh,
down?
yeah. Luke
sweet.
Luke went off on everybody in his deal.
Yeah, might
Why?
be his last fight in the UFC.
Why? What happened?
Well, he was talking about fighter pay and that kind of stuff. And
Insurance, all
Yeah,
of it.
you bet.
Everybody's talking about that, right?
Yeah, not.
Went after some reporters.
After they talked about it, no one's seeing him fight.
Uh-huh. John Jones talks about it, right? He's fighting. Connor talks about it. He's
Francis
fighting.
talks about it in Ghana.
Francis fighting.
They haven't fought in a couple.
Yeah.
They haven't fought in over.
Luke
a year.
Rockhold ain't those guys though.
John Bones Jones, 282 allegedly.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's back. Who's he fighting? He's fighting the guy from Ohio, Stipe.
Yeah,
He
that's
fighting Stipe? Stipe's been out a while.
Stipe's been fucking saving lives.
Yeah.
He's fighting fires.
Yeah,
Come
he had
on.
sweet commercials too.
I wonder how he's doing with the Browns.
Oh no.
Stipe is probably pretty
Stipe.
torn.
Super good guy, right, Stipe?
Yeah.
How do the Browns feel? Boots on the ground over there in Ohio.
I honestly don't know. Like anyone, they're kind of confused. They don't know how to respond. Like, well, they're kind of excited about football, what could possibly be for the team, but then they're like, I don't get it. I don't understand what he was doing.
All right. We're back in the next hour. We'll talk more about it all.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
We had some phone calls on a 500 phone line. Then I'm hopping on a bird, flying to Montreal.
Ooh.
For 12. Oui, je ne peux pas, hein? Tu es très fantastique. 1200th episode.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 200 episode of SmackDown tonight.
Hell yeah.
Consecutively, by the way. 1,200 straight episodes. SmackDown.
That's pretty amazing.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal. Milestone tonight, Canada. Can't wait to get there. I'm sure there won't be any issues with customs. Going across the
No,
board.
no.
All right, we're back in about 2.5, 3 minutes. We'll see you then for hour 3. Cheers. The system crashed out. Only one camera is of use at this moment. For those that are watching at home, we apologize. This must be a Field Goal Friday.
I can't believe that the cameras aren't working on today of all days.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
This is the
was-
universe.
Oh, hey, pal. How you doing?
Gabagool. I need a nice cold Bud Light.
What?
You're fucking out. How's your fam? How's your fam? Made a couple whiskeys. What? Boy, 80,000 individual eyes that are looking at these eyes right now. What the fuck are you doing? 2 scotches. What? Are you kidding me? Tequila. What?
55, 56, 63. That's how many new wrinkles I'm going to bring to the office.
I get things done, Patty.
Vodka. What?
He said I was on meth. I ain't ever done meth.
Dirty dressed up like Russell Wilson. Margarita. What? He's Brett Michaels. You're fucking out. More ice cold Bud Light. What? More ice cold Bud Light. What? More ice cold Bud Light. What? What? Ice cold.
Cheers.
Thanks everybody for watching.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Hour 3 on this Feel Good Friday, August 19th, 2022 shall commence immediately following the speed drop from a talented individual named Twine. Here it is.
Here we go, baby.
Here we go.
Baby.
AJ, did you hit it?
Yeah, I got it. I was a little early.
Well, I also saw you looking off camera, probably because you had to put your little piss bottle down that you're peeing underneath the desk because you only gave you a minute and a half to go ahead and relieve yourself. We appreciate you joining us. My left, your right. AJ Hawk, who's a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup champion, and a COVID survivor, multi-time. Ain't that right, AJ?
Multi, yes.
Holy shit.
Drew Lock allegedly was suffering severe symptoms, so I think he got OG19er COVID. I've experienced that particular one and another bitch-ass version of it. We hope
Is that still going around?
I guess Drew Lock got it. That's what Pete Carroll said. He was suffering some real symptoms from it, yeah.
Dang.
That was from maybe the originator who got it in Seattle and gave it to everybody during the Dragons game.
Well, that was the XFL originator.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't. I mean, was that the first one in America?
That was when the
Patient Zero, it might have been.
It started in Washington, I thought.
No, I thought it was San Francisco, wasn't it? It was West Coast, I thought.
Are you talking Gwyneth Paltrow from that movie?
Contagion?
Yeah.
No.
Matt Damon?
Thought Tom Hanks was the first case.
Oh, yeah, in Australia.
Yeah. And then
he was in Australia.
Well, then
wait, was that real?
Rudy Gobert had it.
Rudy Gobert got it after the... No, he had it probably during the batting of everybody's microphone.
Yeah. He was a prick doing it, that's why.
But check the XFL Dragons Nacho concession stand guy.
That was early. Because the XFL was one of the first.
Well, he didn't make it. He...
Yeah.
Fucking...
Paul Allen put a bullet in his head.
What? Paul Allen's dead.
All seriousness aside. Of
course.
Everybody needs to tighten up. All right, everybody needs to tighten up right now.
Come on, tighten it up, guys.
Tighten it up. Tighten up. Okay,
Lock it in.
At Boston Congress.
Pull in.
Tone Diggs is here. Yes, there was an XFL Dragons concession stands worker who potentially had COVID-19 pull in the nachos.
Yes. March 5th that happened.
And that was before.
That was early.
That was before the Pelicans when you announced Zion.
Yeah, because people were still going out that year for St. Patty's Day, which is 2 weeks after fucking.
That shut down the XFL, though. That particular case shut down the XFL that one weekend, which led into the bankruptcy, which led into Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Danny Garcia buying it, and the XFL about to become the second biggest league of all time.
Yes.
Actually, the employee who worked at the game on February 22nd tested positive on March 5th. So, oh boy. It might have been him first.
So he
might be
said,
patient zero.
I'm doing this one more time, and I'm going to fucking get Drew Lock because I've been watching Gino, and he ain't the guy. It's Drew. and I'm going to give him COVID right now.
This was a year ago.
Yeah,
It's 2
he
years
might have
ago.
said that.
2 years
He
ago.
might have said that today.
Maybe 3 years
He
ago.
might have said that last week or this week on
It does
Monday.
feel like yesterday all the time kind of runs together, but we are in the middle of the second preseason week, although it's the third week of games. AJ, I called for the NFL to cancel the Hall of Fame game in the first hour. Would you like to echo those sentiments?
Yeah, I would imagine fans wouldn't be too happy, but players, coaches, GMs, owners, all of them would be very excited. I think.
Make it an event.
Would you still have both teams there, though?
No. Fuck no.
Just the Hall of Famers.
Yeah, alumni, vets.
Yeah, you could make it pretty cool without a game. You're right. Make like a whole weekend of things for everybody to come and interact with everybody.
Ceremony, concerts. Can't even have
Like a fair. It's almost like like a state fair.
Yes, like a Hall of Fame festival.
Sure.
Have that one guy, the guy that does like magic and he's funny that you saw. At the
Mighty
Indy
Mike.
State Fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mighty Mike leads off the entire thing. He's on Thursday night, and then just have
Get
the
Chris Angel too.
Definitely Chris Angel. Of
course. Definitely.
Imagine him in one of the wings of the Hall of Fame just saying, I'm sleeping here all weekend, no food, no water.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
that'd be
Probably booked already.
David Blaine.
Get
in
Dave Baker in like a dunk tank or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But what we're saying
With
is
sharks.
the game is pointless, dude. Think about that. That was a week
you're
and a
right.
half before the first preseason weekend. Think about how big of a waste that is for every team building. Now, I respect the Hall of Fame. That's why I think it should be a festival. Like, let's celebrate this. But there's no reason to have that Hall of Fame game even exist. The only thing we learned from that was what? Josh Jacobs and Josh McDaniels don't like each other.
Exactly.
That's basically all we got out of the
They
whole
did like a 7-on-7 of Hall of Famers. Like just the guys from the Hall of Fame who want to
Who
play.
can play, who can't play.
Plenty of them too. Like we've seen T.O., Randy Moss definitely
Barry
can
Sanders
still
said
play.
he can still go a little
Barry.
Have him play Flip Cup.
Yes.
Just have the Hall of Fame festival, a celebration of it, because we are now in preseason week 2. Last night kicked off with the Bears traveling to Seattle and smacking them right in the fucking mouth. Today, the Panthers and Patriots play each other at 7:01. Patriots will play Mac Jones and some starters. Panthers will play allegedly their third and fourth string quarterbacks, P.J. Walker in the first and third quarters, and Matt Corral in the second and fourth quarters. We all seem to like the Patriots, even though the spread has moved to 6. Yeah. That's a lot of points. Bill Belichick's watched that Panthers defense play all week. With Mac Jones playing, let's assume they get the dub. Saints at Packers tonight. Packers favored by 3. Jordo will be taking on. Jameis is playing a little bit or no?
I have not heard a peep from the Saints, but it did move to 2.5, so I don't know if something creeped out.
Okay, so maybe Jameis is playing. We do not know what's happening there. How do you feel about the Packers tonight? Allegedly, and we missed this, we're bad media just like everybody else. That statement publicly to the media from Aaron Rodgers about wide receivers running the wrong routes and dropping balls and everything, where he sounded like a coach almost. It sounded like, hey, Coach Aaron Rodgers right now trying to demand a little accountability through public means, which coaches have done for a long, long time. They've utilized their press conferences to put pressure on players at different positions to perform well. Bill Polian did it to me one time. The year we were 2-14, at one point we were 0-8, 0-9. On the Bill Polian show, when he was asked why the team isn't winning, he said, well, Pat McAfee doesn't know how to directionally punt. And I'm like, well, okay, I don't know if this is my fault why we're 0-9, but it does feel like Bill Polian saying, hey, fucking guy, maybe start evolving a little bit. And I kind of took it. But Aaron also in that same, I guess, set of remarks there about the wide receivers said Jordan Love's stats got fucked because these wide receivers were in the wrong spot. So he's actually sticking up for Jordan Love, I think. We should see a much better wide receiver unit. And Jordan Love probably going to ball out with this whole thing. You like the Packers tonight in this preseason game that means absolutely nothing without the MVP playing?
Yeah, I do, because Jordan Love, I know from every report we've seen, like he looks pretty good in camp, hasn't he? Like he's definitely improved, has a feel for the offense. So him, and you couple that with some receivers that obviously definitely have a sense of urgency to make some plays and do some things. Even though Aaron won't be in there, they still want to make plays and kind of right what they feel may be wrong a little bit. And let's see, I don't know. I mean, preseason games, how do you pick a winner though?
Well,
but when you get to the second half, who knows what can happen?
Well, that's what we're doing right now.
Who has the better quarterback?
So yeah, right now I'll take, what's the line?
2.5.
Packers are favorites?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take the Packers.
All right,
Yeah, us too.
100%.
Danny Etling came in last week and balled out the third stringer for the Packers.
Yeah, and he's got wheels.
He can move?
He had like a 75-yard touchdown in preseason a couple years
Like
ago.
guys that can move in preseason. That's why P.J. Walker potentially a problem.
And then, for the Saints, you got, the Red Rifle and then Ian Book was...
Hey, Andy Dalton getting dunked on in the first hour. I did not like it. Everybody was shitting
Just
on
Connor.
him.
No, it wasn't me.
Connor,
That was on
Nick,
shitting
on him.
Zito, shitting on
How
Andy Dalton.
long is the Red Rocket playing?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We have no idea.
Practicing with the
Haven't heard
Packers,
anything from
obviously.
Saints.
How long is the O-line going to block for him?
Well, they help him up if he gets decapitated.
Right.
These are
And
all
does
questions.
Does the number 1 D play much for the Packers? Because that's a big difference. Like that D is serious.
Yes, very good. But I guess they're very deep too, right? I think let's get back to that Packers game real quick because there is something we have to talk about. Randall Cobb, OG member of that wide receiver room, he came out and spoke about what Aaron said. And he was like, yeah, these motherfuckers need to know, like, we will cut them. Like, you either do your job or you get the standard around here is the standard. If you ain't it, get the hell out of here. You like this whole thing or don't like this whole thing? It's drama coming out of camp, which is never good. But it feels like at least there's enough time. The OGs that are still around are trying to be like, hey, this is how this goes around here, which is good, I guess, in the post-Davante Adams era.
Yeah, I like it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think part of it, too, maybe is like for the first time, like, you know, with all the stuff that's coming out about Rodgers with like the ayahuasca and like, you know, oh, he's loving his teammates more. Like, I think it maybe is just a reminder, like, to these guys who haven't proven anything in the league, like, hey, shit isn't sweet here. Like, you have to earn your keep, you know, and like Davante Adams isn't here anymore. You know, like there isn't like the best receiver in the NFL. Like everyone who is in that room is going to have to contribute, and if they don't, Rodgers isn't the kind of guy who's just, like, we've seen it in years past. Like, if you don't have his trust, you're not going to be out there. He's not going to throw you the ball. And, you know, I think the reporter said, like, do you think those guys appreciate it? And, yeah, Randall was just like, well, it doesn't fucking matter if they appreciate it. Like, this is the way it is here. And we've had guys who have been successful. When you've had, you know, like generational players for basically from Favre right into Rodgers, like, why would you expect anything to change? Like, that's the way things are. If you can't get on board with that, then you're probably not going to be playing. I think it's okay.
So I guess that's what we're looking at in that game. Like, how do the wide receivers look? Almost like, what are the wide? And we didn't expect to have that be a focal point of any of these games. But I guess after Davante, you're trying to look and see who it is.
Yeah.
But now it's like, if Jordan Love does have a pick or Ettinger has a pick or whatever, it's like, all right, let's do Pro Football Focus real quick. Does that look like that wide receiver ran the right route?
Yeah.
And none of us would know the answer other than the quarterback and the wide receiver at the time.
Well, and we talked about it last week. If Rodgers is actually, you know, calling some plays, and like he's definitely paying pretty close attention to how these guys are running the routes, like and all that kind of stuff. So I think there is some value there.
All right, so tonight will be great games. This weekend, Lions and Colts wrap up their joint practices tomorrow, 1 p.m. You want to come to that game, AJ?
When is it? Tomorrow? Saturday?
Yeah.
Sunday? What is it? Friday today? No, I can't.
All right. I just would
Thank
like.
you, though.
I would like. No problem at all. I would like to let you know though. I started that sentence with, "All right, tomorrow the Lions and the Colts take each other."
Yeah.
You know, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since COVID, I get the days mixed up a lot.
Well, you just weren't listening. That was the problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Is I do too.
It's possible.
Especially last night. Did you see them just mail it in? Monday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Monday Night Football. Couldn't even add like on a Thursday. Like, you know what I mean?
Are they just trying to make sure we hear Monday Night Football and get that back in our brains?
I guess because Dan's calling like 3 games this year, so that is certainly something that we want on our
When is he
brain.
doing them? Is there double headers 3 times? Is that why?
He says he's got a game, next week or something like that? I think there's a game next week, and then he's got 2 during the season. Yeah, probably doubleheader stuff.
The first week is definitely a doubleheader, I think, right? The first Monday night, they do the really late night Monday night game, which I'm sure these guys will have. And then
No, it's 2 Eastern Standard Time. It's Tennessee and...
oh, that's right. One of them, it's
week 2, there's one, a doubleheader.
Yeah, they changed it for the first week.
I think Joe and Troy got the Pacific time, the late one. I think.
No, I think you're right.
Because it was Tennessee and somebody else. So what are the games?
So it's week 2, Titans and Bills.
Yeah, Titans-Bills. That's the one Dan's calling.
And then it's week 8.
What? Yeah, what's the other game?
The Vikings and Eagles. That's on ABC.
Drop the ball.
Week
there.
8, they're doing the first exclusive NFL game on ESPN Plus, which is in Wembley.
Oh.
Is that Dan?
And then week 18 is the normal ABC ESPN Saturday doubleheader.
Yes.
Oh.
3 games.
Well, then playoffs, I think they're getting a Saturday game, aren't they?
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
They normally
Super wild card weekend.
So
2, 3, 1, right?
4 games.
Because they also have the Monday Night Football game now on Super Wild Card Weekend.
My guess is that Troy and Joe probably do Saturday and Monday.
Oh.
Could be. I don't know.
Maybe. How about Dan and boys?
Yeah.
Or Riley guy there.
Yeah, delete Twitter.
Can we not?
ESPN's out, though, after the first Super Wild Card Weekend. Isn't that the last
Yeah.
game ESPN has?
Yes.
I did not know that. You just told me something.
Because then it's just CBS Fox, and then is Fox or Fox is it no
NBC?
Why can't they just add on a Thursday? I mean, it's just
NBC is not the Super Bowl this year, but they do have games during the divisional and I thought the championship Sunday.
I will say the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because last night watching the game, my wife and I both thought it was Monday for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And, that's on me and my wife. But honestly, it said Monday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Monday Night Football 3 times on the screen. And we were just like going through our life, like, oh, about to be a long week. I was thinking, like, God damn.
Jesus
it
Christ.
is Monday.
Like we've done 4 shows already.
What
this
has
week.
happened? I was at training camp. I mean, what's going on? I started to think that. And then I was like, Sam, I got to go to fucking Canada tomorrow. It is Thursday. Weekend's right around the corner, actually. Pretty excited about it. And then I thought to myself, why don't they just... Dirty.
Yep.
How hard is that to add on a Thursday into a graphic or something like that?
Probably take me about 2 seconds.
Whoa!
So I think the big deal is like we've dealt with those like big graphics where it's like, oh, you got to have all these graphics in by last week. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're not talking about the size of the graphic. You're talking about company.
Right.
Yeah.
So last week they didn't realize that it was on a Thursday, or
I mean, that's just like a little tiny thing.
Was this game flexed or what?
No.
Yeah.
I did hear this morning though that you think they'll flex Texans Browns week 13 to Sunday Night Football?
Oh, dude.
yeah, if they're both dog shit.
And then everybody's going to say it's a work. This is continuing to be a work because now they got a Texans-Browns game that people care about on week 13 out of nowhere.
There's got to be other games that
Hey,
weekend.
there's people breaking this down from all angles right now on TV and all of them, and I don't know enough about it, but I don't think there's one person that has a microphone that said, I thought it was going to be a season. Did we not all think that was going to be a season after Roger Goodell comes out and calls him a predator and everything like that? He said nonviolent, whatever. But
That's why it settled, right? I assume it was this season, and they settled on 11.
But there was an angle that was also being painted that Deshaun didn't want to settle. Like, he did not necessarily want to say he was potentially backing out, but who knows? They agreed to terms, I guess, 4 hours before it was released, 5 hours before it was released, and it took a little bit to sign because there is, believe it or not, when you agree to terms with somebody, there is a chance that they just add in the asterisks of the contract just a lot of fuckery, like a lot of it. And it's like, well, these weren't the terms that we agreed to.
Yeah.
These certainly changed the terms too, don't they? Don't you think? Well, that is standard operating procedure. Well, no, fucking me. Could have been the way it went down. And they did take a little bit to kind of get the ball in the end zone on the half yard line. But them getting a deal done, I think ultimately, in my eyes, was much better for Deshaun. Whether Deshaun knows that or not. I think we all were expecting a year, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why the conversation is the conversation, I think.
And part of the thought had to be like, if we do give him a year and then he sues, which he probably told him, like, hey, if they give me a year, we're going to take them to court. And then this thing just continues to be a storyline for, the next however many weeks. Because even with this whole appeal process, we thought we were getting a result last week. And then the week before that, there's even whisperings like, hey, keep your eye out. There might be some sort of settlement reached or some sort of agreement or ruling on it. And then it lasted 2 more weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be forever.
Yeah.
What about the fine? I've heard people say that the fine's not enough. If the fine's $50 million, it still doesn't have the impact they think.
Yes, and we talked about that from a reality perspective because of what was being alleged and the people that have been affected by that and how passionate and for a good reason they are to these types of situations and allegations. Like, no matter what the punishment was, people were going to be pissed. If he wasn't banned from the NFL, there are some people that were going to be mad. And by the way, never going to change their opinion, and they will be able to explain exactly why they feel that way because of what they've been through with either family member or friend or themselves included. So you just got to expect, like, hey, these people are passionate about this for good reason. Now, there's other people, I guess, I haven't heard much about him. Maybe his quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, is that his name?
Yeah.
Quincy Avery has come out numerous times in his defense saying, talking about maybe they were expecting no suspension at all. Maybe after the appeal, they were thinking no more games would be added. I think that's a small. And then there's a lot of us that are just like, hey, come the fuck. Like, this is not great. It at least should be this. But with precedent being set and punishment and lawyers and all this shit, will anything ever be decided right? Probably not. Going forward, nobody's going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be happy with any decision ever made, I think, when it involves something like this.
No, you can't. There's just too many layers to it. And also, Deshaun got fined $5 million. What are his lawyer fees? $3-4 million, you think?
I have no idea. Probably a lot.
Crazy amounts.
Made $10 million last year.
What's that?
He made $10 million last year and he didn't play. So
Yeah, but there's another $666,666 that is being taken away from his newest deal in those first 12 weeks in which he's being suspended and won't get game checks.
So just from last year's money, he can pay for everything.
Well, pre-tax. Pre-tax, because you got to pay the fine post-tax.
The massage thing's weird too. That they had to put those stipulations in, like they have to be
Yeah, big
okayed
time.
by the team and all of that. Like, is he even gonna? I'd be like, I'm not getting massage. Like, well, I would imagine he'd be a little scared of getting massages from now on.
You would think.
How about the people having to give him the massage?
Yeah, how do they
that's
not
what I'm
just
saying.
hire one person to be with him? The team hire one person that's like, hey, you're only getting massages from this.
So we'll say this. As somebody who has known multiple teammates who had different body gurus. Now, everybody seemed to have their own shit, though, which is the alarming part of this whole thing is like there's people that live and die by massages. Like they believe that they cannot perform and won't perform unless they are getting their bodies worked on a regular basis. You've heard stories in the past of people, drinking their own piss, fucking showering in wine, like wearing weird stuff. Like I think it's in Rookie of the Year where the guy's a voodoo guy and he's like in his like people
Or
since
Major League, sorry.
Major League since the beginning of time, athletes. There's some athletes that have really gone to wild extremes to either hold on to being a good player or they think they have to be a good player. Now, there's a whole bunch of research, I assume, trying to figure out whether it's all mental or a placebo or it actually works. And if they weren't to do all these things, would their body be able to do the same exact fucking thing it was doing post all these things? That is not up for conversation. I'm just telling you how some guys operate. So there's a lot of body gurus and massage therapists and, things like that are around professional athletes. Some guys are all the way in, some guys are all the way out. The alarming thing is the amount, right? And then everybody's like, well, you're not really serious about it because if you were serious about it, you would want a similar person because that person learns your body, learns your reactions, knows what's good, what isn't good. So it's like hard to kind of dive into it all. Like that is kind of because there is people that do a lot of massages throughout the year, 2-3 a week throughout a season almost, some guys. But then the sheer quantity of them.
Yes.
Debunks exactly why those guys do 3 times a week. So it's like I don't really understand this situation at all.
Bringing your own towel.
Wait,
what is that?
Well, that's
I think evidence.
Evidence from
Yeah.
we also, I don't know if it's been mentioned or not. I just didn't hear it or not. He also, part of his reinstatement is contingent upon his compliance with a third-party evaluation and treatment. So someone has to say he's trying to get better or whatever the wording you want to use is, that he's complying with his treatment. And
what are those treatments, AJ? Hey, listen, this is how you give a massage. All right, you let them bring a towel.
Mm-hmm.
What is the treatment?
I mean, it's like when I would assume you've had, I don't know if you've had a DUI or not. I've had buddies that have gotten them, and they have to go to like a 3-day thing where people sit and say how they're smoking crack off with people.
Listen, I have not got a DUI, but I have heard about DUI camp in Ohio from numerous friends of mine.
Yeah, it sounds like, man, I learned how to be a real drug addict there.
That's what it's called, DUI camp in Ohio.
Really?
You get a DUI, you got to go to DUI camp. It's for an entire weekend. You check in.
Heavyweights?
It's like AA. It's like AA, I think, but it's DUI.
They sit in a circle and they go around and talk about what they're in for. And every person I've known has gone like, man, I thought I had issues. I am good to go. I have no problem.
Every person that I know that has gone, by the way, from your town and other towns around from where you're from, have told me the same thing. Like, the only thing I got at DUI camp is that I got a ways to go before it's a real problem. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, why is that? Like, well, this one guy said, I'm sorry. If I'm eating wings, I have to have Budweiser. And that has really caught me caught up because the best wings aren't at my house. They're somewhere else. Like, those are the types of things that are happening at these DUI camps in Ohio.
Jesus.
The most Ohioans are in there telling their stories on why they got pulled over. And normally it revolves around them explaining why this is an uncurable thing. And the stories I've heard out of DUI camp in Ohio is insane. I have not gotten a DUI. I was trying to walk the fuck home and I got arrested.
I wasn't accusing you. I was just in case people live and learn.
But I did have to talk to a substance of abuse advisor every single week for 27 months.
Which is similar to what Deshaun will speak to somebody in his field of whatever.
This first few weeks were quite a battle. Every time I was asked, when was the last time you used? And I'm like, all right.
You used.
I'm not even getting into that. I didn't use it. What, a drink? Are you saying last time I drank alcohol?
Did they really phrase it like that?
Yes, use alcohol. Yeah, use.
You did the alcohol?
Well, I would like to. The guy that I had to meet with every week for 27 months was a pastor. He was an older man.
Good. Easterby?
No.
That'd be sick.
This guy much cooler than Easterby. Maybe one of the best dressed men of all time. I don't think I've ever seen him not in a three-piece suit with a top hat.
Beast.
At his house.
That's awesome.
Middle of the day. This guy.
Respect.
Awesome. Now, I think he had gone through a lot of different situations, drugs and everything like that. And he told me his entire story. And that was very cool. We became better friends. But also, while he was telling me the whole story, as I was young in the process and being an asshole and not really happy about having to do this for the next 24 months, I was like, yeah, you're the type of guy that needs this type of... Yeah, just like that's all I kept thinking the entire time. So then the next couple of weeks when I was hating every moment I go into this, which I did for 20... I hated every fucking minute of it. But after the first 4 weeks, I wasn't as combative and like, like, when's the last time you used it? You fucking tell me, pal. You actually use stuff. Like that. It wasn't great. It wasn't great going. But then once he and I both realized that we're going to be forced to talk to each other once a week, me mostly realizing I'm going to be forced to talk to this guy for the next fucking 2 years, every single week at his house, like the conversations became a little better. We started talking about like stuff and started doing that whole thing.
It's like Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
You probably haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, he gets a chalkboard, figures out the math problem.
Yes.
He's fucking janitor.
Robin Williams, though. Robin Williams had to break down his tough exterior.
Yeah, he goes to like a bunch of different therapists, and basically all of them are like, I can't fucking handle this guy. And then so finally they take him to Robin Williams, and he's from Southie too. He gets it.
Of course Robin gets it.
He does.
Yeah, but we didn't talk once about alcohol, man. We were just, 23 months just talking about life, basically, and just telling stories. I assume this is going to be a little bit different, this particular one, because I'm getting drug tested 8 times a month, and if I have any alcohol in me or anything, I'm getting fined $30,000 immediately and all this stuff. How can you find somebody getting a massage somewhere? Like, I don't know how that treatment goes. I don't know.
Bob
Are they going to have to make a third person be there?
What's that, pal?
Would they make a third person be in the room?
Well, then it's
Always?
not, isn't that patient,
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
Privilege?
Who's the doctor?
The person that's talking to Sean.
No,
about
I mean
his
for his massages.
problem.
For his massages, could they
It's
make
like
a third
team
person be
appointed someone, isn't it? I believe I read that it was going to be a team appointed individual.
Should be Bob
Not the league.
Team, yeah.
I'd like to let JJ know if he's watching. He's a good man. And I apologize for this first few weeks, kind of burying you.
Love you, JJ.
He was a good guy. He was a really good guy. He hated having to meet with me every week, though. You know what I mean?
Sure, agree to love it.
Still, look fresh.
I'm sure it was his job.
It was at his house?
Yeah, I had to go to his house.
Sounds like he wasn't put out at all.
Tough way to get there, too. I mean, it's just, getting to his house was a whole fucking hour and a half experience.
Jesus.
I had to meet an hour every week.
Where was it?
It was
he
in
a psychiatrist, psychologist? Do you know what his credentials were?
Therapist, I think. He's just like a substance abuse therapist, I think. He was a preacher. He was a good guy. I'm telling
But
you.
he had his own rock bottom story?
Yes, that's how he got into it all. You know what
That's
I mean?
how, like Dr. Drew, all of his people that worked out there with him, they all were crazy, and then they found their way.
He was being very nice whenever he was telling me everything, And I think he was appointed by the team. So I think he was a team-appointed guy. I think the team had to find him and do the whole thing. His first couple of weeks, I was rude, though. I was rude. What are we talking? Use? Well, you fucking drug tested me, didn't you? I mean, you tell me.
What do you mean?
The last time I saw any of my friends, because all my friends booze. Yeah, it was 4 months ago. Thanks for asking, dude. Hey, when was the last time you used? I told you the same thing last week. I got no fucking friends now. I hope you're happy. I sit in my living room and watch terrible fucking television. I hope it's 5-6 weeks. You happy about it? You're the one that needs to be. When was the last time you fucking used, pal? And then he would be like, well, I already told you. It was just like the nicest guy, the nicest guy of all time.
He's probably seen it all. I would imagine he's seen it all dealing with people.
I don't like this massage therapist treatment. Like,
what is it?
When was the last? Like, do they have to go hire somebody else that isn't a substance of abuse therapist? I assume. What a wild.
How long does booze stay in your system?
It depends, right? I mean, you've been hungover before.
But I'm saying, did you get tested? If you had booze in your system, are you back in the program?
Not just back in the program. Yeah, it's a fail, and I think it's a fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, let's say you drank the night before, and they got you 2 days later. Are you getting popped?
So it depends on how much you drink, right? I think that's a whole.
I don't know.
You know how much booze is in you. I think you know how much booze is in you.
Yeah, but how much shows up in your piss?
Zito just said 25 hours to get completely clear out of your system, I guess.
It's weird that it's not 24.
I went, hey, I smoked spice there for a little bit because I was told they couldn't get in, and I was kind of, had to do something. I mean, I was going full board on tree and booze, like hard. I mean, I was
Drinking O'Doul's?
No, I didn't like the taste. I don't think I ever really enjoyed the taste of those heavy beers. So anybody that drank the O'Doul's, and that's why I think I just chugged them or whatever. But I was living real hard, and everybody I was friends with living real hard. Everybody had a great time. We were living a great life. Had money.
You're so young.
It was a good life. It was so much fun. It was a blast. Literally everybody I knew. And then, hey, if there's a photo of you with any booze or we find any booze, it's a fine. You have to do this for another few months or whatever. It's like, well, who am I supposed to talk to? Well, we got to choose a therapist to talk to. Well, yeah, but what about every other day? what about every other day? Well, you find different friends. You'll find different ways to have fun. I'm like, I start going through things. Oh, that'd be. It's much more fun than when you're fucked up. That'd be fun. And that's when I want Bigfoot hunting, ghost hunting.
What?
I want catfishing.
What?
Noodling, I guess is what you call it down there.
Okay.
I hit the road for like 6-7
Were you
months.
filming a reality show with Bert Kreischer?
I did all the reality shows that off season. Yeah, got on a bus, did all the reality shows, just kind of isolated all by myself. Yeah.
Cruise, right? Didn't you go on a cruise?
Did not go on a cruise when I was. Oh yes. Cruise
Seabass told you to.
Yeah, cruise was how I beat it in the first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, hop on a cruise, you can go get banged up for a week and then you come back or whatever. And that did happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that certainly did happen. But then I tried to lock in. And then the lockout happened. Ruined my liver 100 some days and I'm back. Nonetheless, I don't know how they'll find that therapist and who says the therapy's happening and working and everything like that, but we will kind of follow along as it happens because this has never happened before.
No.
Hopefully never happen again.
Right.
I'm getting out of here. I'm going to Canada.
Hell yeah.
Harrison Butker wants a 70-yard field goal shot. Let's go. Go and get it, Harrison. I think he can get it. The longer kicks, the better. Jimmy G, we talked about that in the first hour. Good teammate, good leader. Yeah. He checks out for a couple weeks during the offseason, though. That became a little bit of a story on why people don't want to trade him. David Lombardi himself told us that's all bullshit.
Yep.
Russell Wilson has a brand new cleat, the Alpha Menace Elite 3.
Oh.
So clean, these Alpha Menaces, AJ. If you would have worn them back in the day, you might have ran a 4.3. Huh?
I need to see these. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Alpha
Menace Elite 3s with the high socks or the mid socks over top of them. What a look. Can't
Like
spat.
soccer.
Yep.
That's how soccer cleats are now.
Don't need to spat them either, AJ, do you?
I mean, I would, but yeah, you don't have to.
Well, you don't have to because these go up the.
Those are hard to get on.
No, you just got to slide them on. They have ankle support, man.
Yeah, I know. They're sweet. I'm sure they feel great.
My feet are way too fat for the Alpha Menaces, but I do know if you're a skill or a speed or an absolute freak athlete, the Alpha Menace Elite 3s will be riding high. You know what I mean? Brian Daboll is giving Tyrod Taylor starting reps for the New York Giants, but he denies it has anything to do with Daniel Jones' performance. Hey, nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Let's give the guy a break.
Yeah,
Let's get a former starter in numerous places who has had success in teams and situations that have been completely fucked. Some one reps here as videos continue to release of Daniel Jones throwing balls to nobody. That was via around the NFL. Kirk Cousins says you fucking like that at practice. That could have been a Shanahan. That could have been his own GM. That could have been to the fans. Or maybe that was to Kirk Cousins who has a birthday today and says this is a new me. Welcome to new Captain Kirk. A little bit bigger biceps, new haircut.
Yep.
This is a new Kirk Cousins. If I die, I die. Javon Kinlaw, the San Francisco 49ers, a fucking monster. Got a good video of him walking off the practice field, I assume in Minnesota, shirtless. He was the man that got in a fight with that bum-ass reporter, Grant Cohen. And Grant Cohen, obviously 4'2". This dude is a freak.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
How cool would that be, AJ?
Good luck blocking him. Are you serious?
How much fun would that be? And, you know, he is on record as stating that a reporter who talked massive amounts of shit about him said that when he walked up on him, he was cold as ice, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I can see why, by the way. I don't know if there's many people that aren't cold as ice as soon as they see Javon Kinlaw. He's moving up in my rankings of greatest athletes on earth. Just from that one walk-off video, it's great to see. Absolute dog. Tyrann Mathieu talking about what he's been around, who he's been around. He said best he's been around when it comes to leadership. When Demario Davis, he thinks that defense is going to be great. How could they not be with all the weapons they have? Will they be playing tonight in the game against the Packers? Probably not.
Probably not.
Antonio Brown compared Tom Brady's situation to his. Malcolm Butler's been put on IR season over probably, I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, probably.
What is it?
Career, you think?
Probably retiring. He came out of retirement for this.
Wait, what happened?
No idea.
We don't know. Yeah, this could have
Nobody
been Bill
knows.
Belichick doing the whole.
Rookie corners have been playing very well, too.
Malcolm Butler will always be remembered for one of the biggest plays in the history of football.
Yeah.
Congrats on all the success. We hope that isn't it. If it is, congrats on a run, pal. Yeah, LeBron James agreed to a 2-year, $97.1 million extension. Obviously, he's worth way more than that. Shams Charania broke the news. Bill Plaschke showcased that he still has his fastball because he said, oh, great, Lakers are going to suck for another couple of years. And that's
Bill
all
Plaschke?
Yeah.
Where'd he come from?
Around Horn.
LA Times,
Yeah,
dude.
he's still got a heater. His headline basically said, signing LeBron to massive new deal means Lakers will inevitably fucking stink for the next 2 years.
Bingo.
I'm sure LeBron saw that. LeBron's worth way more money than that to not only the franchise, but the NBA, to everything. Congrats to the Lakers locking him down. Maybe they'll get back on the winning side of things. Hey, maybe that'll happen. We do know that Wendy won't be breaking the news.
No.
Brian Windhorst says he no longer has a close relationship with LeBron James. In years past, I had messaged with him, but we both kind of moved on.
Okay.
That's via the NBA Central, which is a great news source as well for the NBA. Wendy has been following and tracking LeBron James since high school, through his Cleveland era, to Miami, back to Cleveland, over to LA. Wendy's had a hell of a run. Congrats, Windhorst.
Congrats on what?
On a run.
What are you talking about?
I'm breaking up with LeBron. What happened? Did something happen?
He was just the guy that they would put on TV anytime anything LeBron happened because they assumed he was the plug because they think he had a great relationship with him since then. He's no longer the plug.
It was probably that one thing when he was trying to explain something.
Oh, when he did this thing. and then
Why did he
LeBron
feel like he has
watched
to
that.
tell us, though?
Tell you.
He didn't. I assume he was asked
Big
and interviewed
news.
about it, but also that is literally the only time we fucking saw Wendy on television for the last 45 years. Him talking about LeBron. Now that Wendy's no longer the LeBron plug, what will the next version of Wendy be?
Good
Can't
question.
wait to watch chapter 2 of Wendy on media.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like when Ben and J-Lo broke up for the first time. Like, there will be people who are devastated today in
And
cubicles.
they'll be back together.
They'll be
at some
back together
point.
down the road.
I hope.
That's
All
right.
I hope so.
I'm out of here. I'm going to Montreal. Bonjour, ça va bien, et tout comme ci, comme ça. Because we got a big preseason weekend ahead of us. The boys will do a giveaway on the other side of this break. AJ, you're the best. Cheers. Goodbye.
It really comes down to, and pardon my French, but giving less fucks. I think that it's a maturity that comes from aging, from making mistakes, from failing, from being too sensitive at times, from taking things too personal at times. And it's about growth and learning not to be indifferent, because I think indifferent people are terrified of making choices, and it's a cold place to live. It's about choosing what to care about, and the things that you do care about, it's less things. It's not trying to be a part of every conversation or get involved in everything or setting yourself up to be offended about certain things. It's caring more about specific things and less things, and with those things, it's finding ways to solve the problems, because true happiness doesn't come from eliminating all problems in your life. I believe it comes from solving the problems that you have and dealing with the pain and the suffering that is natural in life and is a part of life. It's not fleeing from pain and suffering and running from those things and not dealing with the emotional situations. It's looking at those head on and saying, how can I solve these problems and make my life a little bit better? And that's what I've tried to do the last couple of years, and I've talked about in this show as well. It's about perspective. And I truly believe this, when you focus on the things that you have more than the things that you don't have, you allow yourself to let gratitude sink in. And when the gratitude sinks in, it is always accompanied by joy, because you're focusing on the blessings that you have, not on the things that you don't have, the things you wish you had, the way you wish your life was that much better, you wish you had this, you wish you had that. You'll always be unsatisfied. But when you take solace in the fact that you're where you're supposed to be, and that life is going to come at you with pain and suffering and failure and frustrations and mistakes, and just trying to solve those problems and do a little bit better next time, it allows you to, I think, be a little gentler with yourself and admit that you're a human. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to please everybody. There's always going to be a 500-pound elephant of possibly hatred and malice waiting for you, whatever decision you make, and that's just part of life. You got to deal with it and just try and be better the next time.
So you feel freer, it feels like, huh? You kind of feel free.
Yeah, there's a liberation that comes from caring less about the things that don't really matter in this life, I think. And I will say, if anything, and I know the two of you is the best on this show, and so I won't speak for the other boys, but I'm sure they're very similar. There's a lot of joy in being unapologetically yourself. And I think in life we respect people the most often who are that way, who don't try and change or be different or grow meek in situations that require courage, that go quiet in situations that require communication. And that's what I appreciated in both your friendships, is that you guys have always been yourselves. And Pat, I haven't known you as long as I've known AJ. I sat next to AJ for 9 years, and I have so much love for him and appreciation for the friend that he is. But I always admired and was inspired by the fact that AJ was always himself. And he believed that who he was exactly who he was supposed to be. And he didn't have to be different or put on a face for anybody. He was unabashedly himself. And I think there's a lot to be, gained from doing it that way. And what I love about you and the boys is that's who you are. You guys show up every single day, not with an agenda, but with an open mind, and create conversations around important topics, and then you just be yourselves.
Here we go. We're wrapping up hour 3 here on the Pat McAfee Show. I'm AJ Hawk, sitting in for Pat here on Friday, August 19th, as he heads to Montreal for SmackDown tonight. I'm here in Ohio. The boys are all back in Indianapolis still. Hopefully they're still there. Haven't seen them yet. Boys, y'all still there?
Heck yeah.
Okay, Diggs. You know what time it is. It's Diggs giveaway time. So please let everybody know what the hashtag is, what we're giving away, and what they need to do.
Okay. This week took a lot
Circle it.
A lot of deliberation this week for this week's giveaway.
Yeah, we weren't sure.
There was.
Who was? Hashtag PMS Alpha Menace. That's hashtag PMS ALPHAMENACE.
Hell yeah.
Hashtag PMS Alpha Menace.
Should we do Elite Threes or just PMS?
No, just Alpha Menace.
Okay.
Just Alpha Menace.
Okay.
Make sure you put your hashtag in the tweet. We will do 10 winners for $500 per use. Hashtag PMS Alpha Menace. And we want to know, what's your favorite football cleat of all time or favorite football accessory? Is it a neck roll? Is it a visor?
What? Back flap.
Maybe
pair of cutters.
Yeah, I mean, you could even go face mask. I love the old Justin Tuck face mask with all the bars on it.
I was the Triple T guy, but hashtag PMS Alpha Menace. Make sure you put your hashtag in the tweet, and then let us know your favorite fucking football accessory of all time to add to the look.
Yeah, AJ, what was yours aside from the arm guards with the pads on them?
Mueller elbow pads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mueller, the black Mueller elbow pads will take. Guess what? My freshman year at Ohio State, I played a game on old school turf at Wisconsin, and I wore those Mueller elbow pads.
I figured.
Of course you did.
You did not in high school. Did you tape your fingers?
My fingers, no. I don't think so. I would have loved to wear gloves in high school, but I don't know if we really did. None of us really did.
Did you tape your belt?
What do you mean?
Put a cool little design on your belt like hockey players with their hockey sticks?
No. My belt wasn't long enough. I didn't have the super long belt hanging down.
Hey, how bad did it suck? I'm sure, I don't know, you probably didn't have to do it yourself, but putting the football belt through the football pants when there was only one hole and one exit, one entrance, one exit for the belt.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to do that myself. The people in Green Bay, though, that's what I talk about all the time, and Pat does too. Behind the scenes, they are masters at that stuff. Those NFL pants trying to get the belt through there, it's almost damn near impossible for players to do it.
The trick is putting the metal part in first, and then you use the metal part and pull the metal part around instead of putting it in the other side.
But that metal part doesn't fit through a lot of those NFL pants. You know how tight, I bet you.
No, I don't know. I didn't play in the NFL.
Almost, though, Con, man. I know you played high-level football. I've seen you tackle a great professional football player right now that's playing for the Packers.
Whoa. Hey, that was a long time ago.
It may have been a late hit out of bounds, but you still got him.
That was not a late hit.
In today's NFL, it is.
Well, we weren't playing today's NFL in 2012, pal.
Where was that game played?
Lawrence Academy in Massachusetts.
So where did A.J. Dillon go?
Lawrence Academy.
But who and what was your team again?
Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols.
What was it? Wait, excuse me, Browning Nichols?
Buckingham, Brown, and Nichols. It was 2 different schools. Buckingham, Brown, or maybe Buckingham and Brown. I don't know what the hell. There was 2 different schools, and they combined to form one.
Oh, what were you guys, like the Tigers or what?
No, they're the Knights.
The Knights? Oh, that's good. Nick, I don't know who's on the calls. If you guys have anybody that you feel like we could pop up eventually, we might take 1 or 2 callers.
Hell
Who's
yeah.
on there?
What was your high school, Centerville Elks?
Brian from
Centerville
New York.
Elks, man. Come on.
Brian from New York.
Dayball?
Oh, Brian, New York. What's happening,
How
pal?
you doing, guys? Good. I just had a quick insider question, rather, to an actual Pro Bowl. I never talked to one before, obviously. So we've been talking about the Hall of Fame game, and no one likes it. Nobody likes the Pro Bowl where it is. What if the Pro Bowl team played an exhibition game the Hall of Fame weekend? So people who are so jacked to watch any kind of football all summer, they actually get to watch the Stars play an exhibition game for Hall of Fame weekend. And the Hall of Famers from the past can be the coaches. You can't tell me the players wouldn't want to go play for some of those Hall of Famers in an exhibition game instead of having this useless extra preseason game that 2 teams get for no reason.
Well, I appreciate the call, Bri. I don't know if the players, that doesn't really. You got players coming from all different teams on their Pro Bowl teams going to go a week early. Are they going to practice? How is this going to happen? Con, what do you? I bet Connor has a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you're just shutting this guy down. It just feels like you're kind of.
I mean, you know what? I don't want to bring an umbrella to a brainstorm.
Yeah, there you go.
But you know what? This one, I think this may be hard to put together. I really.
Well, here's the thing, because they already do the Hall of Famers who coach the Pro Bowl after the season, and guys don't want to go do that. But I could see them wanting to go a week earlier, cutting their off season a little bit shorter, and traveling to Canton, Ohio, and they'll probably play super hard 1 week before the season versus 1 week after the season.
They just need to start the goddamn preseason then. Like, if it's Thursday kickoff Hall of Fame game, then there should be Friday games, Saturday games, Sunday games, like it is during the entire preseason, instead of having 2 teams play 4 games.
No, you're 100% right, but is anybody else out there calling for this? I don't think there's a big push to cancel the game, is there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, and there is some sort of you could definitely speak to this better, but isn't there some sort of respect amongst players for the Hall of Fame? Like, if they just if there wasn't like an extra game for 2 teams and they just made it their first game instead of making it like the phase 0 game before the preseason actually starts, like, would it be that big of a deal then?
No, I think it would be, if you didn't have to go early and it was just your first preseason game, I don't think guys would have any. Guys actually might like it because there's going to be like a fun atmosphere. It's going to be jam-packed, the stadium. So that would solve a lot of issues. You just have to, bump it back a weekend maybe?
Yeah, just bump it back 1 week, and then it's just not a problem at all for anybody because then it is their first game.
Correct.
I guess, high school football starts tonight for a lot of people. Is it for you guys?
Really? I didn't know that.
I don't know, to be honest. I would assume so. What week is it? August 19th? Probably.
Second to last.
It was
Doesn't it seem early?
Yeah.
It was always the last weekend of August or the
week.
second to last
They
weekend
just started
of August.
school, though. A lot of them just started school. So I think, first big Friday, I guess, at least around here, they're all starting.
Because I know
heading
training
out
camp-
tonight?
Yeah, you and Bob going to get tuned up in the parking lot before it?
Which games do we go to? We got to just choose random high school games to go get blasted at?
Yeah. Why not? You want
Centerville
to see some
Elks?
good football?
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Thought
I don't think I'm going to make it tonight.
I thought you were honorary captain. I thought you were going out for the coin toss for the Centerville Elks tonight.
Running them out. Running through
the tunnel with the flag.
Pre-game speech.
I would love to, man. It's fun. You run out of that locker room at Centerville. It's a special feeling. We had one kid tear his ACL one time when he jumped up to touch the banner and got trampled. But that happens everywhere, I think.
You guys got Lakota East today.
Lakota East.
Good
East.
squad.
Tough game.
Good squad.
Yeah, and Lakota East, sorry.
They're
It's a away
dogs.
game.
They are good. Anyone down there near that Cincinnati region's pretty solid. I mean, I don't know how you guys don't have you. When's the last time I guess you've been to a high school football game? Anybody there in the studio?
Last year.
Really?
Who?
Yeah, my brother is the head coach at our alma mater.
That's right, man. So does he have a game tonight?
I don't think so because I actually went on last night and tried to look at the Metro capsules and they weren't up yet. So I'm assuming next week is their first game.
How long has he been the head coach?
This is like his 5th or 6th year, maybe.
Damn.
So is he a teacher as well?
Yeah.
What's he teach?
History, I think.
Wow.
And your whole family's all intellectuals, aren't they?
A couple teachers in my family, yeah.
Yeah. Con, what about you? Your brothers and sisters coach?
No, they do not. They do not coach football. Last time I watched the game was probably in college, be over at the dorms, high school teams playing on campus, meander on over, see what the future's looking like for the NFL.
Wait, what?
Well, they
I
would
was
play.
confused as well.
There is a prep high school on the campus of the college I went to, kind of part of it, and they would play their high school games on the lacrosse field. So it was just like right next to one of the houses I lived in my junior year. So take a couple beers, go over, watch from like a perch up high, see what the talent's looking like around town, see if we got a shot.
What do
at
you mean
state.
the talent?
Yeah, he did say it like that.
The talent on the football field. What do you mean?
I sure hope so, Con man.
What are you referring to?
I don't know. You act like you're creeping on people out there.
Hey, AJ, this is an all-boys prep school. I mean, I am just going to watch some kids play high school football. Sorry, I honor the game, and you spit on it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure that's how it goes. Zito, I know. I want to get back to the Bears quick with Zeke. So,
go ahead.
Zeke, are you genuinely excited and juiced about what this Bears team could be this year?
Yeah. Obviously, O-line is an issue. I saw something that the O-line wasn't that bad, and I saw something last night that they did look kind of bad. So,
Cole Kmet, you got to feel good about him.
Yeah, I'm really pumped for Cole. He had a lot of good plays last night with those rollouts.
And he was juiced.
Yeah.
And Fields looked good.
Yeah.
Like overall.
He did, didn't he?
That I feel like if you have a young quarterback and he's good, like it's the same with Pickett in the Steelers. Like if he goes out and he looks good, like that just gives you hope for the next 10 years because all you're looking for is a good young quarterback.
Yeah.
Don't you think the O-line, if the O-line's struggling now, like in Justin Fields can kind of help cover up for some of their early mistakes, they could eventually grow into like a system, like a group of guys that has played, if they get enough reps together where they could be pretty good. So maybe the Bears, there's definitely hope, but gosh, I mean, their divisions, everybody in the division's getting better though. That's what makes it tough.
Yeah. So what kind of O-line are they looking for? Fast O-line, or are they just looking for like the biggest motherfuckers ever?
It's a great question. I think everyone has different philosophies on what you want. You just want 5 dudes that can keep your quarterback upright.
Yeah.
Run blocking is like the easy thing. Like O-linemen love to run block. It definitely slows the pass rush down, all of that. But I've known guys coming out of high school that were crazy, unbelievable stud offensive linemen. They get to college, wherever it may be, and they can't really pass block because they didn't pass block a whole lot in high school. So that can happen. You just got to find a guy that can pass block. You get a good left tackle. Obviously, your right tackle needs to be a stud as well because a lot of teams have rushers on both sides that complement each other well. And then, I don't know, man. It's tough because 5 dudes have to stay healthy and play well together. So it doesn't matter what the body type's like. Just get in the way of the other team.
They have like $120 million in cap space next year, so they can definitely add to it.
Man, you gotta draft well too. When it comes to O linemen, like it really helps if you draft well because no one's going to talk about it. No one's going to be all juiced. But you know what? Like it's a huge thing. A big addition to the Chargers, Corey Linsley. He was in Green Bay. Corey's a great center. He's unbelievable. And what he can do for an offense, I think people don't really understand how much that can help an offense when the center is not only super smart, but he's very strong and you don't have to worry about him. And it's, I don't know. I don't know if the Bears are going to be good. I just know that the rest of the division's getting better. Justin Fields is good, and I just hope doesn't get killed this year, really.
Yeah, Chargers drafted Rashawn Slater, too.
Yeah.
He's just a left tackle. But then, like, the Bengals.
And what's his name out, BC?
Yeah, Zion Johnson. But then the Bengals, they didn't draft anyone at O-line, and then they just signed Kappa and Lyle Collins. So it's kind of like
they did it in the offseason. You're right.
Yeah, it's like a two ways to do it. But also that's what happened with the Chiefs. They added to their O-line, and they drafted 2 studs. So they did it perfectly, really.
Whatever happened to Kyle Long?
That's a good question because he
never
never really
played that
played
season.
last year.
They said he was
He
injured.
dealt with remember we had Howie on at some point, and didn't he say like, well, what Kyle has had to battle through or deal with? Yeah. Like, so what was it? Some crazy injury?
I don't know if it's a crazy injury, but like they nailed everybody they drafted. Like their center Creed Humphreys was a beast. The guard they got Trey Smith or something.
What's his name from
he
the
was a
Patriots.
beast. Yeah, they made Tooney the highest paid guard ever. They traded for Orlando Brown to play left tackle, and then they still had one other guy from the year before as their right tackle. So they kind of like unknowingly filled all their spots, I feel like, because those 2 rookies just happened to be unbelievable.
Yeah, it does. Hey, Diggs, we're about to wrap this thing up. Why don't you let everybody know again what that hashtag is and what they need to do?
The giveaway is hashtag PMS Alpha Menace. That's hashtag PMSALPHAMENACE. 10 winners, $500. Make sure your cash tag is in the tweet and let us know what your favorite football accessory of all time is.
Charlie number 2. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
I think toilet bowl neck roll should be number 1 on
Pretty
the list.
good.
Zach Thomas.
I've seen some good ones. That was one of them. Was that
The Brian Cox deal too, the board.
The cowboy. Did you ever wear a cowboy collar?
Oh yeah, I wore a cowboy collar all through high school. My first 2 years in college, I wore a cowboy collar.
Well, I thought you had to at Ohio State because of Andy Katzenmoyer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think I sure felt like it. And then I took that thing off, and I was like, "This is amazing! I can look around and move my head. I have so much more vision." Like it was like I was a different player once I took that thing off. Really.
Yeah, except you just got freaking better because that's what they do at Ohio State. You know.
Well, you got to be able to see. As you get older, your pads get smaller, your clothes get smaller. I was saying earlier, the pants I wore in Green Bay might be smaller than my 9-year-old son's pants that he plays in right now.
Love that.
Like, it has to be, man. You want it to be tight and feel good so you can feel fast. And we only have about 10 seconds here. I know I would throw it to one of you guys to maybe say, hey, why don't you say something to Mad Dog? You got anything good to say to Mad Dog? But Mad Dog will be awesome. We'll be back on Monday. Pat is in Montreal tonight. Hammer Down's coming. See ya.